This is the most efficient we've been.
Is it?
Like bing bang bong, like set up, camera, light, start. Yeah. Okay, get a board.
We need a whiteboard.
Okay, get a board.
Also, I'm glad you think we're efficient because we're gonna get right into things. We have 2 orders of business on this cold open, and a half one that just popped up to me. What's with these Kleenexes?
I don't know.
Why are there Kleenexes in here?
I don't know.
What are you doing in here?
I didn't.
What are you doing in our podcast studio, Patrick, with tissues?
What are you implying? You notice that open that closet real quick, Malcolm?
What if a dead guy popped out?
That's what I was thinking. Some lady falls out of it.
We emptied it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also, take a look at
Did you empty something else and then clean it up with these tissues?
Okay, you need to stop yourself. You need to stop yourself right now.
What's the order of business?
First order of business. Shameless plug. I have started doing garbage on Instagram. I call it Stupid Little Guys. And I'm drawing garbage every day until I get bored. So go follow that. Shameless plug. That's me. Hold on. Check this out.
Malcolm got followed and he was like, who is this piece of garbage?
Look. I've been drawing garbage. The one from today, I did Dracula flow with the iconic quote.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck if I go blind. I don't need to see the price tag anyways. But look, I'm drawing garbage every day because I started doing this with Varsh, and it amuses me. This one was for Spider-Man 2.
Did she draw with you?
Her and I were doodling, and I doodle a couple of real things, and then I started doodling this nonsense, and I was like, this is now... I told Varsh I'm abandoning all my other career pursuits to do this full time. So, Stupid Little Guys. Second order of business. Audience. As it turns out, somebody at this table just had a birthday recently.
Oh, God.
Whoa!
Yes, that's right. Mark is now 19. No, Mark is
I'm legal.
Mark is now 23.
That's right.
So we have something. God damn it! I thought I could do it like this, but I can't. Hold on.
We're doing this live?
We're doing it live, baby! Well, it's not live, but...
He pulls out a gun and pops me.
Do you want to just see it or like close your eyes and have it appear?
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Okay,
Close your
okay,
eyes.
close my eyes.
Show the camera first, Matt.
Imagine we're in a movie and there's a camera outside and it's looking at the window and they just... Oh.
I open my eyes and Matty's pointing a gun at me. He's crying. Can I open now?
You may.
It's in front of you.
Oh,
Open
shit.
your eyes, baby.
Holy shit. Wait,
This
how many?
is
Is this like the whole...
The entire Low series in one compendium for
Oh,
your
shit, dude.
reading and viewing pleasure. We threw
Thanks,
a
buddy.
bookmark in there too.
Wait, there's a bookmark in there. What
There's
the hell's
a
going on?
bookmark
We got
in
you a
there.
bookmark?
Oh,
Oh, that's from Varsh. Varsh drew you a
Oh,
card.
that's so cool.
So I told her, I gave her inspiration. I said,
Wow, it's
Mark
Last
likes
of
The
Us.
Last of Us, so she drew a Last of Us
Hey,
card
bud.
for you.
Look at this. You guys see this?
I didn't see Varsh's drawing.
Look,
though.
it's Joel and Ellie from Last of Us.
She drew Michael a Spider-Man one too for his.
Damn,
he
that's
just
so
had a birthday
cool.
recently,
Tell her I
too.
say thank you so much too.
But she drew a thing, and she threw in The Room reference because she wrote a hi Mark on the inside of the card. I was like, this is why I
Dude.
love you.
You guys are the best.
You better get Spider-Man too.
But yes, so it's the entire Low series, issues 1 to 26 in the compendium, a little PSN bookmark, and Varsh's card.
Dude, I love it. Thank you guys so
Yay!
much.
I'm glad you like
Can I
it.
give everybody a hug?
Of course.
Oh, we're gonna.
I don't know how this is
Okay.
going to show on
Alright.
camera, but we're going to do it. Do we go in front of the desk?
They're just on one big handshake.
I'm gonna like.
Oh, three-way?
I'm gonna like get in
We
here.
can't do a three-way.
I'm getting in here.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Three-way.
Oh!
Okay, now you gotta go around from. Oh, I thought you were gonna. You just gonna Malcolm out?
I give him a little bit.
Now that's podcasting. So anyways.
I gotta give you back your first volume.
Yeah, I was going to say now.
Go, baby.
Because that was.
Mark's 23, baby. Let's go.
Goodness. Yeah, we were trying to rack our brains of like, what do we get, Mark? We've gotten you shoes in the past. I believe
That's right.
last year was the record player.
Yes.
And then we were thinking, and then I think I had said to the guys, I was like, well, I can't think of anything. Because, it's always like, what would Mark want, but something he wouldn't necessarily get himself. And then I was like, wait a minute. The Low thing.
I did want to read all of it, like I said that one time, but I felt like if it was up to me, I might have never done it.
Right?
So,
And
I
now it's
love
right
it.
there. It's in front of your face.
and the cover is so cool. I'm gonna show it to everybody.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Show that bitch.
Let's go.
Anyways, how's everybody else doing? Real quick before we get going.
I've got a midterm tomorrow.
Oh, wow. And you're doing this?
Yeah.
Oh my
It
God.
starts at 12. So.
Hello.
Goodness. Well, that's something.
Can I ask a question? How do I turn down my hearing but keep my voice up? Is that a possible?
Turn down your hearing. Well, we could do like that if that's
Okay.
any better for
But
you.
then that makes my voice quiet.
To you, but not in the recording, if
Oh.
that helps.
I'm just gonna. Here, I want. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's good.
Sound. I guess that's the cold open. We had 2 orders of business and we got to them.
Okay.
Okay then. What were the tissues for? Welcome back to episode Malcolm is Spread Eagle 33.
Zoom in on that. Zoom right in.
You guys smell that?
Episode 33 of Wildly Adequate, the show about anything, everything, and usually say it with me now.
Nothing. No one else said it.
Nobody else said it.
Nothing. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I thought even
you missed your chance. Yeah, audience,
Stay
participate.
at home.
Thank you, audience. I am always, or I am, fuck.
Who are you?
What do I normally say? How do I enter the show? I am 1/4 of your host and crew, as always, Mr. Matthew Urso. And I owe you an apology because last week when we were talking about, you said that you say your full name, and then you were having a conversation with Mark where he gives you shit for saying your full name, and then you said, but I always say my full name, but I throw a Mr. in. And I was like, do I say Mr. Matthew Urso all the time? I do. And I am joined, as always, by
Patrick.
Oh wow, Mark.
Woo! The gang is all here. Patrick, if memory serves, you're starting us off. Please take it away.
All right, boys.
Here we
Let's
go.
get into it. We're gonna talk about gender stereotypes,
Mm.
Okay.
and specifically, we're gonna talk about gender stereotypes that we look for in women when we're on the prowl for.
Prowl?
We're on the prowl. That's a bad word.
There's got to be a better one.
So just to like jog your mind a little bit.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah, ask a clarifying question. Go ahead.
Shouldn't the topic be just be like traits that we look for in women?
I
'Cause I feel like stereotypes are like inherently negative. No,
no.
I guess actually that's
Stereotypes
not
are
true.
inherently negative.
Or not inherently, but like they generalize, I guess. So why don't we just say like are the traits that we look for? in
Well, what
women?
I'm curious about is if you guys do look for these stereotypical traits in girls. Well, I haven't listed
Okay.
some off yet, but
Okay,
like,
sure.
So, for example, a girl who can cook.
Mm.
So when you're dating and you're trying to figure out, okay, like, is this gonna be serious or not?
Mm.
I'm assuming. Actually, we should probably clarify this because it could be different from person to person.
Mhm.
Is everyone here looking to get married one day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
ideally.
when you think about like, okay, is this girl a wifey?
Mm.
Is that sort of a checklist on the criteria? Can she
Sure.
cook, kind of thing?
Mm.
Yeah.
So along those lines.
I think your mic's off. Your mic's off.
Oh, no.
Who else is gonna cook when I'm not home?
It's not as good as
There we
it's not as
go.
good the second time.
That's okay. I didn't hear him the first time, so for me, it was like the first time. Interesting. So
That can
it's
take us away.
not. So you're not asking about like, because we've done turn-ons in the past.
Don't turn on.
So you're not asking about like.
I'm sorry. I keep hitting your.
No, that's
Is
So
this
you're
your
gonna
leg?
list just like a bunch of positive stereotypes and see if we like them? Is that what it is?
Positive?
You're
Stereotype?
I'm just trying to get a grasp on this here. You're asking what like cliche things about women, for example.
Why not just say stereotype?
Stereotype.
Why
I'm not.
No, no, no.
I'm
What-
not
what I was saying
peeling
is-
away from it. Stereotypes like about women, generally that like society has or whatever. Do we maybe look for?
Here's a question I have though. If I say something that's not a stereotype, but it's just something I like in a woman, I can't say it. Like we're only focusing on
Let's just stick with
stereotypes.
Stereotypes right now.
So I have to ignore all the other shit.
So what are you
Like
gonna
let's say for
We can
example,
get to it after.
like what if I have a trait that is not stereotypical but I like?
We can get to it after.
Okay, so we'll put it aside.
So what we're
for now.
doing is
Those are-
you're asking us if we like the positive ones or we dislike the negative ones.
What is going on with
Is that what it
this?
is? Is that what it is?
Give me like what's a negative stereotype in a woman that you're thinking of right now?
I can't think of
Who
one
would
right
look
now.
for negative stereotypes? I'm
That's
asking.
my
I'm
point.
asking
So what's
you.
the point of this? That's my point. Because stereotypes are going to be either positive or negative, and the majority of
My
people are going to
my point
like
is
the positive ones and
that
dislike the
some
negative
people don't
ones.
care if a girl can cook or not. They're gonna be with her either way. That's
I
my
think
point.
I've got one for you, and you let me know if I'm off base here.
Hold on. Did that make sense? What I just
It
said?
made sense, but like, I don't know.
Okay, let him go and
Okay.
hopefully make.
For
makes
to
more
your
sense.
example about the cooking thing, I personally am not looking for or interested in like that's not
At this moment in time,
that's not a stereotype that I'm like needs to happen
Okay.
is cooking, for example. Something I would be more interested in, and I think I have been, and I think, with Varsh, for example, I get that or see that in her, and I don't even know how much of like a stereotype this is, but I guess it's more of like a, traditional gender thing, is like women being more motherly, I guess, let's say.
That's one I was gonna bring up.
What does that mean?
Like, I think just like being good with children, or
Oh, I
like,
see.
and not necessarily taking care of children, but just like having those kind of like,
Isn't being good with children mean you can take care of them?
sure, but like I'm not necessarily just referring to being able to like change a diaper or whatever. Like I'm saying like just being good with, comfortable with,
It's
like
loving.
soothing, that kind of thing with children. And I think at Varsh, where like she worked, I think in like a summer camp or something like in the past before. So like she's worked with kids before. And even though sometimes she might joke and be like, I'm not like the biggest kid person, I see in her like motherly qualities and traits and these kind of things that like if I was single and you asked me what stereotypical like female things would you be looking for, that would kind of be one of them, and I get that in her. So I'll toss that out there to get the ball rolling.
It's not my phone.
Is the phone ringing?
Hold on, you guys keep going. I'm gonna just check this.
Whose phone is
Is that
ringing?
mine?
I think it was this one.
You're probably
Who's still rolling?
I'm probably gonna have to re-record.
Who's still rolling?
But they're gonna call back. No, probably.
C, still topic one.
Sorry.
Anyways, so yeah, I finished my point.
Yeah. So motherly traits. How do you
Sure.
guys share that sort of?
Yeah, like it.
I hate you so much. We're gonna turn it over to Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely like, it's not one that really is I don't know. It's not a must need. It's not a need.
If I
It's
could
not a
add
need?
to it for
Like,
just a
It's not a
second.
need.
Well, it depends on what we're saying.
Like if you want to have kids, for example, I think
yes,
it's a
I was
need.
gonna say,
Yeah,
just to
but-
elaborate on it for a second. I am somebody who thinks currently, even though I sometimes have conflicting thoughts on it, but generally speaking, I think I want
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So that's why the like
Yep.
motherly paternal thing to me,
But to me,
is something that like I kind of think about in a woman and see and appreciate in Varsh.
Part of motherly, I think, also is responsible. Like this is someone I can depend on.
Sure.
I think about that as a different thing. But like to
It
me,
can be a different thing too.
to me, it's like being a motherly person. To me, is someone may not seem motherly, but when they're put in that position, they decide I want to have a child. It's like a natural thing to like have that deep connection with your child and have love
become
for the
motherly?
child. To become motherly, at least partly, or at least
So
to,
motherly.
yeah. So to me, it's like I don't, when I'm like seeing somebody and I'm hanging out with them or something, like I'm not like, oh, do they have this sort of motherly love type thing or not? To me, it's not something that's like an urgent matter, because I feel like when it comes down to it, if we love each other, then like she's gonna be happy to do that type thing, and she's gonna have that good connection. Something that comes to mind for me is like, I don't know. I like, there's kind of a spectrum of like tomboy versus a feminine
I was
looking
gonna
person.
bring that up too. I'm glad you guys are bringing
Yeah.
these up. Okay.
And to me, I'm like, even like my, Vanya, my current girlfriend, is like, she has a very like feminine, like beautiful look to her, and I appreciate that. I never liked the idea of like a girl who's like wearing like a hoodie and it's just all looking all like manly type shit.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like someone who like puts in effort and looks feminine. That's just
Mhm.
something I like.
So hold on, I just want, because that was an interesting example you brought up. So if she pulled up in a hoodie one day,
No, that's fine. I'm just saying like,
yeah.
to me, there's a difference between like hanging out privately, casually, whatever, versus like for going out or whatever. If my girlfriend was dressing super like masculine all the time, I'm not interested. I'm not attracted to that. I don't like that personally. They can do whatever they want, but like if I'm dating someone, like I prefer a girl who looks more feminine. And
Okay,
she,
so
and she
more
is that.
feminine looking.
Yeah, I'm with Mark on that one.
Yeah.
Like a
where's it-
stereotypical. If you had to picture in your head what a stereotypically like feminine woman
Sure.
looks like,
Like I like
I
a
lean more in that way than
Yeah.
the like
tomboy.
tomboy. I think too that's why like, and obviously there's examples where it's not the case, but even like we've talked about it for sure in the past of like the short hair thing of like short hair on women, where to me it's like I like the longer hair and like all that kind of stuff because it just invokes that to me.
So it's for
Looks what
example,
to you?
like
The more feminine thing, the longer hair, which I know the whole. Like, obviously, we're speaking in stereotypes and painting with broad brushes, but I know obviously there are plenty of dudes with longer hair and
Sure.
plenty of women with shorter hair. But I'm just saying, like, to what you're asking.
and for me, it's like a couple examples. Like I love when she wears a dress, or she has like I don't know. She just kind of like that. I like that she chooses to be like that. You know, it would be weird if it was like she wasn't like that, and I was like, oh, you should do this, this, and this. But I like being with someone like her who's like naturally that way, and naturally gravitates towards being feminine and being like kind of, I don't know, gentle in that way, as opposed to like very brash and very, you know.
Well, then you're commenting
it's
on
the
the
nature
look and,
too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say.
It's the
Like,
look
what
and the-
about the personality? kind
Yeah,
of thing?
to me they kind of go hand in hand a lot. Where I feel like I like the person, and she's perfect for me in that sense because she is very feminine and very gentle and very sweet, and her look kind of mirrors that. Whereas like, you know, stereotypically someone who dresses very tomboyish would be like, oh, like fuck you, be very like brash and very kind of non-gentle, kind of like in your face type thing. I don't like that. Yeah,
Okay. So you're feminine all the way. Kind
for
of
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
Malcolm, what about you?
He likes big tits and he can.
I like a healthy mix
Or
of both.
isn't it butts?
A healthy mix of both.
Yeah, I like a girl
do
that
you
can
mean?
dress in like a hoodie and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
stuff like that. But I also like the feminine look a whole lot. I like them
Yeah.
both.
Like I don't mind the hoodie thing too, or dressing down if we're like just chilling at the house or whatever.
Even if we go out, I don't mind the dress down.
Well, hoodie also
I like
doesn't
dress down
scream
look.
tomboy to me. Tomboy, I think
necessarily.
of like
It would be like jeans.
early 2000s, 90s, like flannel shirt and like
Yeah,
jeans
sure.
and
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of shit.
But if your girl went out was just wearing like very basic looking jeans and a hoodie and like I don't know.
It's
like
more
Jordan,
in
you know what
that
I'm saying?
But that's
spectrum,
not.
yeah.
But that's not tomboy. Though.
It's not, but the way I'm looking,
It's
the way I'm
closer
imagining
to
it
that
is-
than it's further, I guess. Let's
Sure.
say, but it's not necessarily like.
I think it's more
Okay,
in
for
Maddie's
example-
kind
Yeah,
of description,
that's
this
how I
flannel
fucking
thing.
dress.
For example, if like, you know, I don't know. It's like if I be like if all her outfits are like, oh, I'd wear that too. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'd wear that too.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like I don't mind every once in a while type thing, but like if her style is very reminiscent of mine, it's like it feels weird.
It's so weird. Bro. I've never been in that situation. I'm glad I haven't. But
Yeah. I mean, me neither, and I'm also glad.
yeah.
Patrick, what do you got?
with regards
bitch.
to gender stereotypes that I look for, I mean,
Sure.
I don't look for gender stereotypes, but I would like to end up with a girl who can cook,
Sure.
Okay.
just because
You're lazy and
But
you
I
want to
feel-
be
but
fed.
I'm
But
lazy.
I feel
wanna
like
be fed.
I feel like
Oh my god, a girl who can bake and make me
Oh my
like
gosh.
brownies.
brownies and cookies, that supersedes
But I
cooking.
don't think any guy in the world will be like, I don't want that. I just think it
Mhm.
depends on how much
Well, yeah, that's
you.
the point. Yeah.
Like, even Matty was saying, like, you know, it's not something that he needs, and it's like a priority. It's like
yeah.
I'm sure he'd think it was nice,
But it would be great
but-
if Varsh was like, I'm going to cook every
Sure.
day. We're together for the rest of our
Perfect.
lives. Like, I'm like, all right, that
Yeah,
works
yeah.
for me.
I'm not
But
gonna
no.
stop you.
Yeah, I'm
My
not going to stop
goodness.
you. But like,
voluntarily.
I don't need it.
Thank
Like,
you.
I'll
Your
fucking
Rational
happily.
service.
I'll happily cook with her kind of thing. Like, it's not.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to like, you know, give the workload all on one person kind of thing. I'll do my fair share, but like if she, like I can cook semi decently.
Mhm.
If she can't cook at all, she can't even match me.
Mm.
Then that's gonna be kind of a problem. Like she's like, you have to
Mm.
learn a little bit.
Mm.
I think that's gonna have to be the solution. You know?
Mhm.
I feel like a big thing for me is I don't know. I've been thinking about this where like the personality is a big thing. Where I feel like someone who is very, like I said, gentle and like not in your face and aggressive all the time type. thing.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I need to pause you.
Sure.
Mm.
Why did that taste weird? This is the first time you've ever served me water.
It's
And it
laced with
tastes- and
something.
it
It's
tastes
your
weird.
house
You're
water.
Go on.
Yeah. No, that's all I meant. I just feel like the more I think about it, the more I do like that very like sweet, calming presence.
Genteel.
Genteel. I don't like the whole like to me, kind of someone who's like always busting balls, fucking around, having a good time is something I look for in a buddy.
Hmm.
And I like having that in my partner as well, someone who can like joke around and have a good time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I like their essence being very calming and like sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's really hard to conceptualize. What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Your head is like.
You know how I think about it.
Yeah.
The way I think about it is if you're in a public setting, hanging out with friends or family friends, or even meeting new people together, and your partner is kind of like outspoken and loud and like you know.
You don't like that.
I like when someone's like more
Reserved.
reserved and gentle and like they're sweet and they're nice.
But why do those have to be mutually exclusive?
They don't have to be, but to me, it's
Mhm.
like I like when someone. It makes sense for someone to be like that after, let's say, for example, they've gotten to know the people for a while. But to me, it's like day one being like super wild is like, I don't know, that's fine, but like I appreciate when someone's very like, okay, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I remember one time, it was actually like with my ex-girlfriend. Me and you were in a car, and I was on the phone with her, and one of her friends was on the phone as well. And this friend was kind of like talking to Patrick for the first time on the phone, and the friend was being very like insulting, but in a jokey way. And Patrick didn't like it, and I understood why he didn't like it, because she was like making a comment about like oh, you have a small dick or something like that, or just making a joke, right? Yeah. And I was like, I get that it's a joke, and then you got frustrated and kind of upset with her. And I've experienced this myself now, where I feel like it's almost like it's this weird thing where they don't. It's like, I don't know you like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't joke with me like we're like buddy, and like you can't just like insult me. Like it's insulting because we don't know each other like that.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I like someone who understands that boundary of not being like super brash and obnoxious day one. It's like, get to know people, and then you can like, fuck around and stuff. But
you can bust balls. Yeah,
I
I remember that now. We were headed towards University of Guelph campus.
That's
I
right.
think I was driving.
Yes. But you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I like, if you're introducing your girlfriend to a group of people, I wouldn't like her to be like, oh, fuck you, pal, and like kind of being all over the place. Or I'm like, what does she think? What is she doing? Like, what does she think she's doing? And it's not even because she's female, or you know what I'm saying? I feel like if I'm introducing someone to somebody, whether they're male or female or my partner or not, I wouldn't want them to be like going hard in the paint, like right off the bat. I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you don't even know this person. What if they're uncomfortable by the way you're acting and whatever? So yeah, that's a big thing for me. Someone who has like that sweet presence and who's like calming to be around.
Nice. Okay.
Cool. And I think that is stereotypically like a feminine trait. People talk about.
No, I hear that. Yeah. Yes, that was good for me. Nice, short, sweet topic.
Are you satisfied?
I'm happy with it. I mean, yeah. So you said you look for motherly traits. This guy said he just likes a girl's
feminine
girl.
Yeah.
Is that proper terminology? A girl's
Sure.
girl.
Girl's girl.
He said nothing, and I said cooking.
Yeah, be in between and cook.
Be a what?
Be in between and cook.
What does he say?
Be in between feminine,
like,
masculine.
masculine, tomboy thing. That was his answer.
Oh,
Bozo.
Yeah.
Then
not Matty's masculine tomboy though, Mark's.
Ladies out there in the audience, what stereotypical guy things do you look for?
Comment it.
All
you ladies.
Engagement from the audience.
Thousands of
Anyways,
ladies.
that's it. That's all you got?
Thousands of ladies. Yeah, that's all I got.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right, it's interesting that this one is coming up. My topic's coming up now because Patrick and I just had a conversation about it in the kitchen downstairs, like 20 minutes ago. And I was thinking about it on my way to your house, and then the conversation we had confirmed it. So I want to talk about our favorite scents.
Scents?
Like smells.
Oh my God.
So
I thought you were gonna be like sight, taste, touch.
What do
pick
I like
one.
to do?
no, like scents.
Favorite sense.
So here's how I'm gonna frame it. Right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna get an air freshener and you can make it any scent or kind of like any scent you want in the whole world, what are you gonna pick? I will start while you guys
Don't
are
say
thinking.
Lysol. For the love of God, don't say
I
Lysol.
am saying what you can call it two things. You can call it clean laundry,
What?
right? Or you can what's the other word for it?
Detergent.
No,
I was just gonna say that.
Something with an L.
Oh.
What the fuck is it? No.
Liar.
Wow, what am I thinking of?
A scent with
Lavender.
No, it's like the light blue Febreze one.
Lilac.
Light?
No.
Potpourri.
Okay, I'll switch it up while you guys think.
Ocean breeze.
Ocean breeze.
I have
Favorite
absolutely no idea.
scents.
When I think of a scent I really like, I just think of like fresh air in the middle of like a forest.
I was gonna say I like an outdoorsy scent, or I love like a campfire, like that burning.
I can't
wood
have that in my
smell.
house.
Oh, got it. Linen.
Linen?
What?
Linen to me smells so good. It's this, bro. It's the most basic.
Linen
I thought
is
you were
a
talking
fabric.
about things we really like to smell.
No, like
Febreze.
Febreze
Linen.
linen, dude.
Linen in
Linen.
sky.
Linen is it's like they have these linen pods, right? And they smell so good. It just smells like really clean,
Clothes.
fresh laundry. It
Yeah,
just
are we
smells so
thinking?
good.
Are we talking about in terms of like the way you want your house to smell, or just things you like to smell?
I'm saying like if you I framed it with like a car freshener, or if you wanted your room to smell a certain way. Like people like a floral thing. I wouldn't want my room to smell floral, but I also wouldn't want my room to smell too kind of musky. I like the kind of fresh fresh kind of
Linen.
linen.
I guess in that way, I still kind of stick to the same answer. I want like an outdoorsy but fresh kind
Bro.
of
Like a
thing.
like a pine.
Like a really light pine combined with like everything else that's outside.
After camping with a campfire or going to a cottage with a campfire, I just need to get that smell off of me. Like, how can you say that?
That's what I'm
not talking
saying.
about campfire. I'm
Campfires?
not
the
talking about
campfire
I agree.
smell
Oh,
gets
I
old
love it.
so fast.
I'm
I
not saying
love
campfire
it.
though. I'm
You know
talking about outdoorsy.
Okay, you know what I feel like?
pine.
I agree with Patrick. I feel like when I'm in that moment, I can appreciate the kind of oaky, smoky smell. It's a part of the experience. But like Patrick said, when I get home, I don't want to be living in a smoky kind of.
Oh, I
Just to
love
be
it.
It's
clear,
crazy.
I'm not talking about oaky, fiery
He's talking about
It
it.
doesn't have to be
campfire.
fire, but I'm saying like that kind of
No,
like
I'm just
woodsy
I'm talking
smell.
about fresh though. I'm not
Mm.
talking.
Yeah.
I'm talking like it's kind of like fresh linen. It's not like dirty linen. It's fresh linen.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about dirty. We're not talking about dirty fire. I'm saying like I'm
I'm
saying
talking
you-
like it's almost like a cool breeze kind of.
Sure. Just
Cool
the
breeze.
outdoors.
Wait,
Almost a little
cool.
Outdoors.
He's not
Wait.
talking about campfires at all.
wait, cool breeze is different than like
I'm talking about a
outdoorsy
cool-
woods.
A
type
cool
thing.
breeze combined with the outdoorsy smell.
Yeah. To me, like, it would be like if you were like standing at like a
What does that
lake.
even mean, bro?
If you were standing at like a lake in the woods or whatever, like where our cottage was,
Mhm.
basically, like the scent
That's
of the
the scent of the
outdoors.
back?
the
So
scent
basically,
outdoors.
basically like trees and sky.
Yes.
Listen,
The
I
outdoors.
I love I love this the smell of if you ever go down a trail after it's rained or like early in the morning. That's like such a rejuvenating.
I like
sort
rain
of-
Uh,
on pavement.
Oh, I always hate that smell.
What? You
Because
gave me a look.
You know why?
I didn't mean to
Because
cut
I
you
feel
off
like
there. I was just adding.
when I was a kid, I'd wake up and if it was raining or something, there would be like this mildew kind of smell with the rain on the pavement. I didn't like the combination of
I
that.
kind of
smell.
know what
I
you're
like
talking
the rain
about.
on
I
the
don't like
It's like an
that
odd
smell,
smell.
but at the same time, I also know what Matty's talking.
I like
about.
rain on the cement. I also, speaking of camping, I fucking love the smell of bug spray, like the off.
Oh, what?
I love that smell so much.
Where do you get off?
Where do you get off?
gross human being.
But
A-
yeah.
aisle 5.
But yeah, that and the campfire thing too. Like, cause I just think if I'm like in the summer, even if I'm just in our neighborhood, like outside, and you can just tell somebody in the neighborhood's having like a fire in their backyard, and you can smell it.
Okay,
I
here
just
we go.
Love that shit.
I'm gonna read Febrez's list.
Here we go.
Okay, so we're gonna
Wait, I thought we were talking about like scents that like we like.
we could continue talking about it, but
Oh.
I want to like list some of these and see which one you guys
Alright.
identify with. Okay, there's one called Sunrise, which is basically like vanilla.
That's what you were doing, you asshole. Sorry,
do-
he's hiding shit from us.
Okay,
Go on.
there's one
I
called
do like vanilla.
there's one called like Sunrise, vanilla Sunrise.
I will say vanilla,
good.
like the scent vanilla,
Mhm.
really bad.
Bad.
Really not good.
What?
What a fucking
Vanilla smells
scumbag.
incre-
I
I'll just
agree,
hold the
dude.
bottle of vanilla up to my
It
nose
gets
and just
way
smell it
too
for as
old,
long as
way
I
you know,
too
can.
you know what it
No,
is.
vanilla's
You know what it is. It's a
great.
little bit too overpowering in your nose. Just like it's a
Mhm.
very sweet. It's like too sweet.
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know what I'm
You're
saying?
right. Yeah, that's
Vanilla's
surprising
good.
coming from
Okay,
me.
Really
next
good.
one, Cozy Campfire.
Hell yes.
Nah, can't
No?
do it. Can't do
Let's
it.
go.
Then we got one. Okay, we got a variety pack here. we got
Variety
linen. We got Gain, which is I guess like straight
That's
up
a
like detergent.
Yeah.
And then we got we got that one.
Terrible
already.
little
There's
variety.
Gain.
watermelon, which is more fruity.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that.
There's cranberry tart.
But the problem with what you're saying, like listing these off,
can't
I don't know what
know,
they
I
smell
know,
like.
I know.
That smells good.
And then there's
Oh
one
my god,
I want
bro!
that in my house.
You want this smell in your house?
Candy.
Oh god.
I
Oh, you know what? Okay. There's one that I want to talk about. It's called Midnight Storm. Now I've gotten it before. Basically what it is, it's like the kind of typical masculine smell, which is very like kind of almost like metallic-y, musky. It smells like a cologne, like a basic cologne where it's like it's very masculine and fresh.
Metallic-y?
I don't like the sound of it.
Yeah, it almost it smells it's like the new car smell, kind of like, you know, very fresh machine.
I know what you.
It's weird.
Oh, you know what smell I really like? I like the smell of like a brand new rental car.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a very certain smell. I was talking about this at work. Liam drives a car, and since he was living in Texas for so long, his car has this certain like been in the heat for so long kind of smell, but also kind of new. It's like a mix of humidity plus new car smell that just makes me think that like I'm somewhere down south where it's really hot. There's a certain smell of a certain car.
I like that too, because I mean, my friend Matthew, when he came by for my birthday, like he got a new like Ford pickup truck, like this big ass truck, and it's so cool, and it's like 2022 and shit, and it's amazing. And I hopped in there with him, and he let me drive it around and shit. And inside, it's like a complete new car smell, and it smells so good. It just smells like I don't know. It's hard to describe it. It just smells like clean machine.
If I may,
Yeah.
it smells like endless possibilities.
Sure, adventure.
I also, this is a broad brush, but I like just food. And I know that's an incredibly broad brush, but I think specifically of like at home.
But think about this.
He wants a lamb in his
What I'm
car.
thinking is like, what sense do we want just like around? Because
Baked cookie smell.
Because I appreciate the cookie smell or a burger smell, but I wouldn't want to live in that or have that around. So I'm thinking like, what kind of smell would you want your house to be versus your car?
I don't want my house to be a smell. That's the thing, though. Like, I want it just to be neutral.
You want it to be
I
odorless.
just want to be living my life.
Because to me, it's like if my whole house could have a very subtle, fresh linen smell, that would be amazing. I don't want it to be strong punch in your mouth.
But the thing is, it can never be that because
Yeah, it
your
can.
sense will habituate.
Sure.
So,
But I'm saying first time walking into a place, I want that to be the smell to settle.
okay.
You know, just like a fresh linen type smell.
Yeah.
If we don't have much to say, we don't have to. But that's
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking more. I started thinking about scents broadly that I just like, as opposed to like what I would want to walk into, because that's to me the food thing. And I guess I think about it in a home sense of like coming home some days and walking through the front door, and it's like my mom's making whatever thing she's baking, or like is making pasta with like fresh sauce and shit, and like walking into the house and smelling that's always such a pleasant
But your mom's
experience.
Portuguese.
You know what I figured? I figured Matty might say like kind of, because there are certain candles even that are like bourbon or rum or kind of like manly, like alcohol-y type smells. 'Cause I know he likes that. Even with like Dr. Squatch, when you have those bars of soap where they have like pine tar.
Yes,
and
yeah,
fucking-
a lot of
good.
the
like
Dr.
barrel oak
Squatch
or- I don't
ones
know.
are those have some really good scents too. I like a lot of those. Yeah, I would take a wood barrel bourbon
I would.
around.
There you go.
I would never get sick of the smell of the ocean. I don't think.
Ocean's
love
another
the
one
ocean.
where like I know some people it almost has like a
Fishy.
fishy, yeah, or just like an off
What?
scent
I
about
know,
it.
I know what you're talking about.
Depends.
I
wouldn't
don't
say
know what
it's
you're talking
off.
about.
I wouldn't say it's like an off smell, but it's almost the tiniest bit fishy, but it's just tiny bit fishy plus fresh.
You know what it's like?
Yeah, to me,
think
I
it-
don't get the off part. It's just all like
I think it depends.
fresh.
I think it depends on where you are. Probably if it's like fresh, clean water versus
Sure,
like a
yeah.
swampy kind of.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
were standing in
We're
front of
talking about
fucking
the
Lake
ocean.
Ontario,
Sure,
there,
yeah, yeah.
then
We're
I
talking about the
can't
ocean.
imagine. Sure, yes, but the ocean, the beach, the
talking about the
waves,
ocean.
all that. I like the scent of that
Okay.
too. I am in agreement
Okay.
with you.
You
on
brought up
that.
Lake Ontario,
So
so I was just I didn't think you understood what was happening.
But so I think ultimately to me, it's broken down into a few major categories. Kind of manly, cologne type smells,
Okay.
fruity, more feminine type smells,
Okay.
fresh scents, and then nature scents, I guess.
Mm.
Because fresh scents to me are like more synthetic. Like I like linen, laundry type smell. Then there's fresh scents like outdoors.
Mm.
Then there's like those metallic-y kind of manly.
What is up with you in that word?
Because
Metallic.
it's the only thing I can think of. A manly scents, I guess. Or
I've
kind of
never
A
thought.
musk.
I've never smelt a cologne and thought, metallic.
Like, I know. What you
Ooh,
mean,
copper.
Yes. I don't know.
Copper.
Wet copper.
Yeah, but to me, it's just more like I don't even know how to describe it. Just like
It's like musky. Like I
sure,
think
musky.
That's the best way.
I
to
did
say
say
it.
that at some point. Yeah, musky. Sure.
I used to, in Michigan, I used to experiment a lot with scents, and by that I
candles.
mean with wax melts.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
We had wax melters in each room, and when we were bored, we just go to Walmart or Meijer, which is the Michigan grocery store, at like 2 a.m. and just go to the candle aisle and just sniff every single wax thing. So we found the perfect one that fit the season. So we'd have one for like Halloween time. We'd have one for springtime. We'd have one for Christmas time. For Christmas time, I think my favorite one was like apple cinnamon pie or something. And those smells, like, that's not something you think of when you're like, oh yeah, this is a scent I want around all the time, but that's like a nice scent to have around the house. I don't know
Sure.
how, but it just changes the mood of the whole.
Honestly,
I like a
whole
good
season.
gingerbread.
I hear what you're saying. I like the idea of like
Seasonal?
changing the scent for the season kind of thing. Like during
Yeah. It
It
Christmas,
made a
have
difference.
scent.
It made a difference.
Yeah.
Like a
That would-
kind of like a toasty,
Honestly,
cozy
Yeah.
smell.
Well, that's
Part-
exactly how I felt. Oh
Part
my
of my
gosh.
thought, honestly, I feel like as I've grown up, Christmas has sort of lost its sort of vibe.
Oh,
in
no.
my house.
Give it a little smell vibe.
Why is it
That's
because
what-
is it 'cause of, like the presents?
it would
Where, like,
help.
you know, like kind of growing up and having the presents as an excitement, versus now it's like it's not as hype.
Now you don't get presents anymore.
Probably, but I feel like we could like build that hype up again. Like, part of it
Let's
could be
get
with
a
this-
wax melter in here for Christmas time, and then
Yeah.
It's already hot in here is the
Christmas
problem. It's so hot.
Yeah, we just need a heatless scent fucking thing. We need a Febreze pod.
Febreze pod, yeah.
But
So what kind of scent category were you most into? Like a
Metallic-y.
kind of like metallic-y or like outdoorsy, right? You'd say outdoorsy generally.
Fruity.
Fruity.
wow.
Okay. So okay, yeah, you didn't mention that till
I
now.
didn't mention it.
Oh wow, okay. And you're
I think I would be more outdoors with like
Okay.
yeah, whether it's like
Same with
Malcolm
Malcolm.
said or like a
Mm.
campfire, the ocean, just that kind of like
Cool.
Even like just being on a beach and not even just like before you get to the water, but just like the smell of the sand. Even that.
What are you talking about, bro?
The smell of the sand.
Talking about.
The sand.
Why did you not? Why did you agree as if you knew what he was talking about?
Because I do know what he's talking about.
You can't smell the sand in
Yes, you
isolation. The ocean is what's overpowering.
I think we've disclosed
guess.
before that your nose doesn't work really good.
Okay.
Even though it's so big, it just doesn't.
all right.
Oh
Just for
no!
All right,
It's
well-
just for show.
It's prosthetic. Anyway, that's my topic.
I will just end on with scents. It always used to drive my family and not my dad, but my mom specifically and everybody around me nuts. But the scent of my hands after wearing hockey gloves
Oh.
and skating around and getting all sweaty, the
Ew.
smell of my gloves and on my hands,
You like
That's
that?
gross.
intoxicating.
You know what? Intoxicating good?
Yes.
The hell is wrong with you?
So
speaking
good.
of intoxicating good, in high school, I always never washed my jersey after we won a game, and I just stick it in a drawer I had with all my dirty soccer stuff, and I loved the smell of that.
Right?
Ew.
You're
Oh,
such
I
a
loved
gross
it.
human being.
Okay.
I was about to say
Okay,
cards
so-
on the table. I haven't washed my soccer jersey in like
Okay.
months and months and months. I can bring it. You guys can smell it if you
No,
want, but
thanks.
it's like
Okay, so now they've both mentioned a kind of off, weird smell that they like. I'll mention one as well.
I don't like my jersey
No, no,
smelling
no, no,
garbage.
no.
I'm not a weirdo.
No, they have.
Oh, they have.
For
yeah.
me, a scent that's not typically good or you would want around, but I love sometimes is gasolina.
Oh, gasoline
gasoline.
smells
I
I
so
don't want that
good.
in my room at night.
I know
but-
gasoline that when I smell it, I can feel my brain cells decaying, but I
Yeah.
can't help but fucking
You
puff
just
it
want
in.
that cancer in your brain. No, but you know what it is? It's like to me, when it's very subtle, it smells so good. But if it's like in your face, it's like a little too much.
Oh,
But, like,
I
like the
at
little
the gas
scent.
station, I'm like pumping gas, and then like I pull the nozzle out, and I'm just like, yeah.
You go like this.
I just put it in my mouth and
Christ.
start drinking it.
Well, Patrick, what about you? What's a smell that's not typically enjoyed or that's kind of like weird that you like?
I'm normal, guys.
Patrick's an animal, and he likes the smell of pussy.
Oh my God.
I'm cutting that. I mean, it's not that bad, but I feel like I need to
gross.
cut it.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Gross. So, a scent that I like that is
It's kinda
I
weird.
guess atypical, kind of
Sure.
weird.
Mhm.
Have you guys ever had? Never mind.
Have you guys ever had pussy? Cutting that out.
I feel like I just want it all in now, just for that,
Oh boy.
just for that punchline.
What were you gonna
Do
say?
you have
I
an
don't
actual
anything
answer?
weird, to be honest.
Okay,
I was gonna
that's
say
fine.
something stupid like. Have you guys ever like had like a really nice fart smell?
Oh,
No.
no. I never understood people who did that. I've never
Would you
like,
go like no?
yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm being clear. I'm not one of those people. I was just.
So I have a short little fun topic today.
Okay.
I want us to put together the best course of food we possibly can if an alien were to come down here and he were supposed to eat just one meal and we wanted to impress him with the best we got.
But isn't that kind of similar to like last meal? It's just like our favorite.
Yeah, I
meal?
was thinking it's kind of similar to last meal, but I just wanted to change it up a little bit.
Now I need you to give me some structure
Wait,
here.
do
Are
we
we talking
together?
an app?
We do it together.
Oh,
We're coming
We're
up
doing
with
it
a
together.
We
So-
have to
Coming
offer
with
something
an-
up to the aliens.
Yeah, we're coming
Okay.
up with an
app, entree,
main,
Yeah, app.
side dessert,
side dessert. Yeah.
and a drink. I assume.
Yeah, and a drink.
Okay, so
Can I make it 2 drinks?
We can make it 2 drinks.
Okay.
We can make it. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with appetizer then. Let's start with an appetizer
Even a
then.
Mandarin.
Let's talk about apps. What app do we want? 'Kay, the way I'm thinking about it is what food, what appetizer would we be like? This is the best that humanity has to offer.
Here's the
Yes.
thing though. There's something that I think we should consider, which is how well the food plays together. Like
Sure.
what is the best
They can't be random.
sort of vibe that we want to go with.
That's right.
With regards to the meal. You know what I mean?
You gotta pick a theme first.
I think it would have to be high end, like steak sort of. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Steakhouse. I'd like
Steakhouse.
that.
I think
thing.
pasta could work too. Really good pasta.
Italian?
Italian pasta.
Whatever it is, I think it specifically for the entree, I'm thinking it has to be slightly encompassing in like a meat, a potato, and a veggie
Sure.
for the entree.
I like
you
that.
know. So if you were gonna do like the nicest steak you could find, like
Mashed potatoes. Garlic
mashed
mashed
potatoes, maybe.
Garlic mashed potatoes.
Cheesy garlic mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Can we do that?
or like,
do that.
and then
So
like
good.
maybe like broccoli or beans
I
or
gotta
like
hear
some
that broccoli
veggie that
shit.
would go with it.
We're
Like I'm
trying to
saying a
impress 'em.
veggie, a potato, and
Okay.
a meat. for the
Honestly,
entree.
I know this is kind of an acquired taste, but one of the best meals I've ever had. The entree was like baked salmon and sweet potatoes.
That was so good that we had.
That was one of the best.
We're not doing that, though.
combos.
Where the fuck did you have
I feel like the aliens would love
the
that.
fuck did you have that?
I honestly
Me
feel
and
like the
Patrick-
aliens.
me and-
Honestly, guys, I'm putting a petition in right now.
Patrick and I were
for this.
doing meal prep at some
Mm.
point last year or 2 years ago, and we did
But my dad makes it regularly now.
Oh, I see.
Like he did like.
Really?
yeah we
Oh,
did
you ate it here.
we did it. We baked salmon, and then we did like squared sweet potato fries.
Mm.
They're delicious.
I wanna try
But
that.
okay, I think that
Mm.
okay. It sounds
Why
like
not the salmon?
Why don't we all put together or all put one thing forward at a time, and then we
Okay.
can kind of go around and see what's kind of the best.
Well, here's what I'll
or
toss
whatever.
out for the side. I think it has to be fries.
The side has to be salad. The side has to be salad.
What are you talking about?
The side has to be salad.
What are you
If it's gonna be
No.
a
talking
steak,
about?
if we're gonna do
We're,
some
gi-
sort
we're
of
giving them Greek salad.
Wait.
Giving
What
them Greek
side?
salad.
Because I thought the plate's gonna have like, for example, a steak, right?
Sure.
With like garlic mashed potatoes, and then like it could be like carrots and some other vegetable or something, like cooked carrots or some vegetable on the side.
Sure.
Can we just
Well-
take this one step at a time? App first. Let's do app.
Appetizer.
Appetizer.
What appetizer are we like? This is the best that we have to offer as humanity. Like this is the best
I guess
appetizer.
Something I really like that I feel like is kind of almost universally delicious. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's two.
I'm thinking a really good spinach and artichoke dip with
Dick.
pita. With pita.
Hmm. and
I don't know.
spinach
I
arch-
like it, but I'm not crazy about it. Okay, here's one that comes to mind for me. I think that it's really hard to go wrong with like a basket of fried food. Like it could be like onion rings with a bunch of different sauces, or I was also
I'm thinking about now.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what?
Onion ring tower.
Or what
This
about
just struck me.
what about like fucking delicious bruschetta with like balsamic vinaigrette on it and like
Here's what I was
feel
gonna
like it's
say.
not good enough.
I don't know how much we consider this an app, but I've certainly seen it in some places. And this isn't even so much a personal thing for me, but I feel like we have to incorporate this particular animal somewhere on there, and I don't want it in the main. Chicken wings.
Mm.
I'm not actually gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
I love chicken wings.
I personally really love
We gotta go
like
high-
an
we
app
gotta-
that I can like eat with bread.
We gotta go
like
high end.
hummus.
We gotta go hummus. We gotta go high.
No, but I like hummus. Wait, are we cutting back in?
You
I like hummus. I like baba ganoush. I like
what?
Baba ganoush.
baba ganoush. Baba ganoush.
Okay, here's the thing.
Um,
Those are very. I feel like we gotta pick something that's like elegant, high end, but also like universally loved. I don't know if we should pick an acquired taste
hummus
thing.
is pretty universally loved.
No,
my God.
it is
No,
not.
it's not. I don't. I'm
You
not.
love
see it as an
hummus.
app. I
You
know,
love
but I don't
hummus.
see it
I
as
don't-
an
I
app.
don't-
Hummus is not a universally loved
a good app-
food.
Chickpeas, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
When-
move on.
When we all went to Planks in Oakville, I remember we all got sliders.
We
Oh,
did
dude.
get sliders.
Those sliders are so good.
I-
See, but that's what I was thinking with wings, sliders, tacos. Like
Dude,
I'm thinking
this
more
is-
something like
this is
that.
Oh,
important.
dude. Okay. Here's what we do. Our appetizer will be either delicious like beef sliders, or there'll be like some delicious like fresh taco,
Some soft shell tacos.
some like fish tacos or
Fish.
some like.
Carnitas
La
stuff.
Carnita. We gotta go to
Oh,
fucking La
dude.
Carnita. I was just telling somebody about this. We need to go to La Carnita again because I fucking want tacos.
I think it'll be delicious to have the appetizers be like fresh fish tacos, soft shell with like lime juice on there.
Because I feel like this covers the bread aspect
I
of what
think-
you're talking about.
I just to help me put myself in sort of the mindset here. If
Yes,
we
Mr.
don't give
Monopoly
them a
Man.
good, if we don't give them a good like meal, is it like destruction for Earth kind of thing?
Let's say they're gonna destroy the whole human race.
Okay,
They're like
the whole
feed
universe.
us.
The whole human race.
Whole human
They're
race.
like feed
My
us or
vote-
you're done.
My vote for appetizer is a delicious sliders. 3 sliders.
Mine also goes to that.
Like you can't. Everybody
One
loves
alien with 3
burgers.
sliders.
Everybody loves burgers, but they're not cheap, shitty fast food
They were
burgers.
so
They're
succulent.
delicious, succulent, good burgers.
The only reason I would say the tacos over the sliders is I feel like I'm in line with Patrick that I think for the entree we're throwing in like the finest steak money could buy.
But to
so
me, it
doing
goes better
beef and
with-
beef seems a little odd, and I feel like with tacos you can get the thing. We can give them more variety of like La Carnita, where it's like here's a taco with pineapple in it, and here's a taco that's fish taco, and here's one like.
But here's
so
my
we can
problem.
Give them more
Here's
like,
my problem is that the sliders to me mesh better with the steak kind of the steakhouse theme. Because to me,
I would.
Mexican-
I would have never been to a steakhouse, any sort of steakhouse
that have
that offers
burgers,
sliders.
that have burgers in general. To me, I'm just thinking sliders are just mini burgers. To me, they have a similar kind of like
Barbarians doesn't have burgers.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm saying that sort of a slider is more of like an American. Like to me, it doesn't match as well as having like tacos and then a steak.
If I may put another argument out there, I feel like sort of the. I think part of the enjoyment also of this meal that we need to make is the difference in how they're eating.
But they
so
have to
in
mash,
my mind, the appetizer needs to be some sort of like a dip, like artichoke dip or like hummus or something like that, where they're like eating with like bread or something, and then it's like their main. They grab their forks and stuff. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like part of that to me is you look at me like I'm an idiot, bro.
No, it
I
makes no sense.
understand what you're saying, but I just
I
feel
don't
like,
understand what he's
I
saying.
just feel
'cause
like sliders are just so much
sliders or
better. I just
tacos,
feel
they're
like so much
handhelds. You can just pick it up with your hand and eat it, and it's like a kind of like a fun
To me,
bread
the app
experience.
is, to me, the app is a finger food.
Yeah, so having
Everything
a,
that we're saying is finger.
having a mini slider or some tacos, and then
Yeah.
the main comes, and then you pull out the what?
Or even like a garlic bread, I would even put out before I put like a hummus.
Okay, my vote is for like a really nice, and we can have a slider that comes on a plank and it has like 3 different types.
Now, the reason I might say to go soft shell tacos like La Carnitas is if you do 3, you can do 3 different ones.
That's what I was saying before. Where I feel like with the tacos, you get like slightly more variation. Like one's a fish one, one's a chicken one, one's a pork one, or like ground beef or whatever. One of them, like La Carnita, is like a spicy one. One of them's got pineapple on it. Like I feel like with the soft shell tacos, you get a little bit like of everything. I know it doesn't necessarily mesh as well with a steak, but they're also aliens.
They
So fucking
could-
what do they know?
They could mesh depending on what we put inside of them. So to me, it's like, for example, remember, imagine like a Kobe beef, like delicious, like soft shell taco.
Wow.
But you don't have that kind of like, you don't have that like citrusy lime, like more like Mexican food flavor. You could have more of like a savory steakhouse type flavor to it.
Now I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I feel like tacos scream a little more Maine to me.
No.
I don't know.
They can
Have
be,
we-
but
That's true.
Tacos don't ever scream me to me.
What about nachos or something? Is that too?
That's too
basic?
bar food for me.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to make a decision here. Okay, my vote's tacos.
I'm going with tacos.
Okay.
Although I
I will
want
go
the burgers
tacos,
more,
too.
I'm going with tacos just because I feel like you can get
Variety.
3 different ones.
so
Yeah,
let's
I feel
say
like we can make it,
variety
like,
of tacos. Is that
variety
what
of
we're
tacos.
We
settling
should
on?
say 1 fish,
Sure.
1 steak, and 1 chicken.
Sure, I can get behind that.
But the problem with that is, okay.
Like nice, small, like sort of finger food. Like,
Okay.
Some tiny tacos.
not over the top tacos.
fresh
Sure,
Just like-
fresh
sure.
tortillas.
Fresh
Okay.
tortillas. By the way, there's a new Mexican place that just opened up in town. I say
Really?
just like a couple months ago, because the new Harry Potter shawarma place used to be that Don Ayers place, and they had like, it's in the same thing as like Troy's there, like that strip of buildings. But they had a basement part in the back
I
where
know
you would
that.
go buy your drinks and shit. The top part is now the Harry Potter shawarma place, but the basement part of it is now this like Mexican place. It's like a freaking hole in the wall. Because Pablo and I were there on Wednesday, and
Was
he
it good?
didn't get shawarma. He caved and got his people's food. He got empanadas and said they were fantastic.
Oh.
I want to try their tacos because they were selling like 3 either hard shell or soft shell tacos. On the board it said like $9, but they had these little coupon things just sitting there that said $3 for 3 tacos. So
Let's
sounds
head on
like
over.
a steal to me. But anyways,
Okay, so we've set on a
Some
chicken
tacos.
taco, soft shell, all soft shell, one beef or steak /
One fish.
One fish. Okay,
and
so
maybe like a pork or a chicken.
so I guess what kind of cut of meat do we want for the main dish?
I'm honestly, I'm saying salmon, bro. Like a
What?
baked
I thought
salmon.
we were doing steak.
A baked salmon with sweet potato fries. I'm telling you, that alien will never think about killing Earth. He's gonna want that every single time he comes back, or she comes back.
Here's the thing. I like
Or
salmon.
Something else.
I like salmon, and I personally like salmon more than I like steak. So I don't mind agreeing with you there.
You're gonna get a handshake.
But
Yeah.
here's my vote, and I had one recently, and it's so mouth-watering and good. And this is my personal favorite: a delicious, succulent, perfectly cooked pork chop. I love a good
I
pork
love
chop.
chops.
So good.
Love 'em.
Just like on the bone, and it falls off the bone. You cut it off, and it's just like this delicious. Like it's like a medium.
Now, here's the only thing I'll say
So good.
is what if Islam exists on this next planet?
good.
Aliens pull up and we're like, "Hey, we've got this pork cutlet for you." I'm like, "Well, that's not gonna fly."
Yeah.
That's not gonna
Or
fly,
they're-
and he will be dead in a matter of seconds.
Maybe they eat halal or kosher.
No,
even.
jokes aside, though, I would
love a good pork.
I would push
chop,
I would
dude.
push back on the pork. I would push.
I
back
just
on the
think it
pork.
needs to be a meat, and so to me, it's like, yeah, it's got to be a
Salmon,
pork
yeah.
chop. It's
Like a
got to be like a
salmon.
steak.
We can
It's
do it
got to
like
be
a salmon.
lamb.
Why do
It's
we?
got to be like.
Oh yeah, dude, veal. Holy
Sure,
shit.
veal too.
What if we had
Hey,
a
buddy, why not salmon?
I just don't think. I think the fish you save for the fish taco or
What if-
like
what if
a
we-
side,
what
but
if we
not
had
for the main.
What if we had a Wagyu beef steak?
Oh
Like
fucking
like
God!
like top of the fucking line, expensive as shit. super succulent, melt in your mouth,
Smothered in
buttery.
barbecue sauce.
That, oh my god, don't
Listen,
ruin it.
all
That
these
made
things-
That barbecue sauce. I don't
All
know.
these all these meats are amazing, but I don't think anyone can refute.
I think
that.
you're outvoted,
Don't
pal.
go
We're
back
not doing
to that.
salmon.
Don't go
We're not doing it. I mean, we're just not doing it. I don't know why he keeps going back to it. Like we might be like, all right, we'll do the
So
salmon.
like a steak then,
yes,
like a
I'm down for a
filet
steak.
mignon or like a
I
tomahawk or
wouldn't say
some
a
shit.
fillet. I'd say a tomahawk.
Yeah, I guess
Say
like a
tomahawk.
big
It would have to be
bone
tomahawk,
in,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Fillet
the, hu-
mignon.
the huge like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Now, what are we
yeah.
putting with that?
Slap it
I
on
want, like Malcolm said,
I want
garlic,
cheesy garlic
cheesy-
mashed potatoes.
Okay,
Oh.
I want sweet potato fries of some kind. Baked
We
sweet
can't-
potato.
but we
Now
could. The
stick
problem
with
here's
me.
a
We
here's
can
a
have sweet potato. We can just have sweet potato.
Here's the thing, though. Stick with me. When you go to a steakhouse, a lot of times they like what you can get with it is just like a baked potato. You know,
Hell no.
not necessarily
Baked
mashed
baked
potatoes, but you
potatoes.
get like a big baked potato where it's like the fucking skin and they pop it open and it's all the shit on the inside.
Yeah.
It's basically a fucking mashed potato for all intents and
But
purposes.
here's the thing: to me, with a steak, sweet potato doesn't. I think that mashed
Mashed
regular
is- I think
potatoes go
regular
better.
goes
Yes. So my point is that I think it would make sense to do the steak with more of like a mashed potato, baked potato, do your cheesy garlic, whatever the fuck. And going back to the side.
It would have to be a salad at that point.
No, I think that's where you throw in like fries. And if you want to be political about it,
Oops.
we do like half and half regular, half sweet potato.
If we're doing mashed
We
potatoes,
can't do mashed potatoes and then French fries.
Why not?
you can't. It's potato. You're right. It has to be
Okay,
a
so
salad.
then
at
I
that point.
honestly,
Here's
I
the
agree
point,
with
here's the
Patrick on this one. I say mashed potatoes and salad.
It has to
fits.
be. It
No,
doesn't-
no,
or
no,
any
Or
other
mashed
stuff, anything
potato
else.
and
Veggie.
some sort of vegetable.
No. Here's what the plate looks like to me. It's like have you ever had like a stew or a roast in the oven
Yeah.
where you have like the beef and then you have like carrots and and potatoes or whatever it is.
Onions.
Like yeah, to me
I
that
like
stew
all
is
that
so
shit.
good. So to me, here's how I imagine it. We have that delicious tomahawk steak cooked medium rare, medium. Then we have
Medium rare.
delicious garlic cheesy mashed potatoes on the side, and then we have an assortment of like a vegetable assortment. So for example, baked carrots with beans or green beans or something, or just a couple of little vegetables that are mixed together, depending on we can
Honestly,
pick.
I would say salad. I'd just say salad.
I
at that
like
point.
all that
I'd
shit,
say
but
salad.
yeah, I kind of lean more towards the salad.
what
Honestly,
kind
I
of
was maybe
salad,
going to say
though?
the salad is like the app at first, but I think tacos is a better bet.
I think tacos is a better.
So
but
I
what
would
salad do
maybe
we
go-
Oh,
want?
Caesar.
I'd go Caesar.
I would either go Caesar or more kind of like
I'd
plain
I'd
Jane,
go
like
house
I do it.
salad.
What?
House salad, I would say.
What does that mean?
One that has tomatoes, onions,
Sure.
lettuce.
Yeah, that's what I meant
But
more
to
by like
me-
a plain Jane
But
kind
to,
of
but
thing.
to me, I need the thing I like about a Caesar, and I think it would go well with a steak, is like the creamy aspect to it.
Sure,
It
yeah.
has that kind of like dairy, milky, like
Bro, you
delicious.
already have your creamy mashed potatoes. Leave me something here.
Yeah, but to me, it would just kind of be like it wouldn't really mesh that well. Just have like a plain ass salad on
So
the side.
Caesar salad.
Caesar salad.
I say Caesar salad.
Croutons. Wait, Patrick. What about if we put little bits of bacon in there too?
Oh, bacon
yeah,
bits,
we can
baby.
do that. We can do bacon.
Okay.
steak
You guys are
and
so
killing
we
But are
need
we-
a
but on the-
dessert and drinks now.
So are we talking mashed potatoes and steak, and then like a separate bowl on the side of
Yeah.
salad? Okay. What are we thinking now? What else do we have to do?
Let's go.
Well, I'm
for
thinking
drinks. I want to
drinks.
say let's do a soft drink and then an alcoholic beverage.
See,
Interesting that you would.
can I make it 3 drinks? Because the only
Nah.
thing is, I was
Can't
just gonna
make it
say,
3.
I just
A
wanted to
drink
put
for your
water.
app, a drink for your main, a drink for your dessert.
I just wanted
but
to
water-
put water on there just to be like,
You
are
need-
you like the aliens from Signs where water kills you? Like, just as like a test.
Honestly, here's the thing. I think water. They're gonna put it on your table anyway.
Yeah,
but like
sure.
ignore it.
Yeah.
So
Sure,
That's the
okay.
second one.
That's
But what's our
test
actual? What's
of,
our
like,
actual?
Is this gonna kill you?
What's our actual drink?
Then I would be in line with Malcolm of thinking booze for sure. Soft drink, I could be convinced that it doesn't necessarily have to be a pop, maybe like an iced tea or like a fruit
Yeah,
juice or
classic iced
something.
tea.
I
love
think the
it. I love
alcohol.
me a
I
good
think
iced
the
tea.
alcoholic beverage would have to be a wine. No.
Why?
No,
Oh,
I mean, why? Because I think it's a thing where
Steak and red wine.
but steak
gets
is
paired
more
with red
steak.
wine.
I
People
think
dip it.
steak more with like my trifecta of
Whiskey?
like steak and whiskey or bourbon or something like that. You know?
Here's the thing. I don't like alcohol, so I can't really. But
I've never had steak and wine or
neither.
steak and bourbon. So
Okay,
like,
here's
I
the
can't
thing.
comment on it.
we're gonna. I think classically they are put together, so we can make it a whiskey if we'd like.
We can make it a whiskey.
And it doesn't even have to just be straight, even if it was like a cocktail or something like, but just
Scotch
a
and
more,
soda.
a more boozy
Mm.
soda. Like what's the one at here in town? Wardrobe Malfunction.
Wardrobe
Mm.
That one's like a bourbon cocktail, but it's like heavier. It's boozier.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
I have a very.
Did we sell on a second drink?
I thought it was just water as a
Go
second
iced
drink.
tea.
iced tea.
Well, because you said water
Sweet,
were not
southern
really
sweet
counting.
tea.
Okay, we
my
can
So
do
it'd be like
Southern
booze
sweet
and then
tea.
another one.
Well, we do
Yeah.
iced
Southern
tea.
sweet tea.
I
Southern
would
sweet
go.
tea.
Yeah, I would go with like
Iced
an
tea?
iced tea or something like that.
Southern sweet.
What's the difference?
Sure.
What's the
What? Yeah. What
difference?
the fuck's the difference?
One iced tea in Canada is different from iced tea in the States. Southern sweet tea is literally just like it's just tea, but they
Mhm.
make it super super sweet.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
If it tastes kind of like iced tea, I'm in.
It tastes kind of like iced tea.
If it's
Okay.
even
Tastes good.
remotely like
Yeah.
iced
It
tea.
tastes way better than
Really
iced
good.
tea. Are you kidding?
Okay. So we got the main.
We got
our
an
app.
app and a side and
Now
some
we
drinks.
dessert.
Now it's dessert.
I want
time.
an
I-
apple crumble. I want an apple.
I
Crumble.
want. Okay.
I think it has to be no. Don't even
Come on,
bro. I think it has to be. Honestly, truly,
there's two
and I don't want you guys to fight me on this. I really don't. Want pushback on this.
Think about please before you speak. Think about that we're pairing this with like a super expensive nice steak.
I
Go
think
ahead.
it has to be a high class Cheesecake Factory cheesecake.
No.
It has to be.
Okay,
it doesn't.
I'm slightly in line with Patrick.
Bro, how good
Not
would that be, bro?
specifically-
Adam's fudge ripple.
I like how he said it so quick and dropped it.
Not specifically Cheesecake Factor, but I was gonna say to me, dessert wise, there's two prime options, and it's either like cake or ice cream or
Not
both.
Ice
Cheesecake.
cream. No, we can. If
What are we at, a fucking
cheesecake
kid's
is wacky,
birthday
ice
party,
cream
bro?
is way
Hold on,
wacky.
hold on, hold on,
Wait.
hold on,
Are we at Timmy's little birthday party?
Hold on. Now you guys are talking like we're going to a restaurant. The way this was originally pitched to me was aliens pull up to Earth and they're like, "What is the best your planet has to offer?"
the best is not ice cream, bro.
To me, ice
Plain
cream
ice
is like
cream?
such a
No.
universal.
No,
No,
but
I would
get-
want to get like the most high end, like fucking
Ice cream?
white chocolate velvet, whatever
But
the fuck.
here's the problem
like,
to me: ice cream has a very low ceiling where it could be very good.
I don't know.
But imagine, think about this. Think about a fucking hot, warm, oozing
Apple
Apple
with some
crumble
caramel sauce on
with
top.
with
And we
caramel
can put-
sauce
The thing is,
and a
vanilla
scoop of
ice
vanilla
cream can
ice
go on
cream.
top.
Sure. I guess if there's my thing is just like I would sauce out maybe cake and ice cream as opposed to like a pie and ice cream kind of thing.
My vote, and I'm gonna die on this hill.
No, you're not.
Cheesecake.
Honestly, I can't say
Cheesecake.
that cheesecake is a bad option.
can't
'cause
say
I'm
it either.
imagining cheesecake going at that meal, and I think it goes very well. I actually do think
It does go.
well.
It does go very well.
Like
Here's what
imagine
I'll
a
say.
Godiva chocolate sliced cheesecake.
I'm thinking
Right
the
now.
Adam fudge ripple, bro.
Here's
Peanut
what I'll
butter
say.
fudge ripple.
Yeah, but that's again to me. If we're gonna go cheesecake, we have to go more classic. We have to go either New York style or we have to go like a delightful like white chocolate raspberry.
Sure.
Kind of
White
something
chocolate ras-
something that's more
Honestly,
fresh.
that's not good. That's not as good as apple crumble with
I don't think
with
so.
some
I
ice
will
cream
say-
on
Agree
top
with
and
you,
some
baby.
caramel drizzle.
Oh
I will
my
toss
goodness.
out that I will do cheesecake and ice cream for Patrick because I feel like every other item he's wanted on this meal we just have fucking ignored.
cheesecake and ice cream.
No, don't do this for me. Don't do this.
Wait,
for me.
cheesecake and ice cream.
Let's pick what we think is
Well, I'm
actually the
thinking
best.
both like a cake and a ice cream for dessert.
Like,
No,
it's-
but
I
does
feel-
it-
I feel like
with a
after.
scoop of ice cream
I
on
feel like
No one
after a
has
nice-
that. Like cheesecake never comes with ice cream on the.
No, it doesn't. It comes with like a
Cheesecake is just
it comes with like a
cheesecake.
dollop of.
I'm
whipped
adding
cream.
ice cream.
You're right. You're
But I
right.
think
cream or something, I don't
what
know.
looks and feels right about a steak is coming a way to coming out with a big hot apple crumble and.
Oh
As they
my
get to
God,
the table,
dude.
they drizzle the caramel on top.
And
Here's the
they
thing.
and
put
ice
that
cream is
scoop of
melting,
ice
bro.
cream and it's
Here-
just slowly melting
Oh.
over the top.
Here's
of
the
it.
thing. Here's the thing.
My mouth is
Here's the
watering,
thing.
bro.
I think one of
Mine
the
too.
if we're talking about what humanity has to offer, I think one of the best things humanity has to offer is chocolate.
I don't. It depends.
Whether I don't think it depends. I
Oh, like
think
what-
that's
what- in
definitely
what-
by
in
far one
in
of the
what
best
form?
things that humans
So what?
make.
So how do you want to give
So
them
we
chocolate?
could do like either a chocolate
Hershey's bar?
cheesecake. No, either a chocolate cheesecake, a chocolate cake, or brown like some sort of like a fudge. Like
Here's what I'm
you know
thinking
saying?
though.
Even
I
though-
feel like with the meal, a kind of caramel, cinnamony apple crumble, that sort of flavor. And now hear me out on this. I know I keep mentioning it. That to me, he wasn't even expecting me to say that.
the same thing.
Mark just did what Patrick was just doing with the fucking
With the salmon.
with the salmon or whatever. Like,
not
now if we
happening,
go
bro.
back to salmon.
Okay, think about this. Does that flavor profile not work better with a steak meal than a fucking like
I
chocolate
wouldn't argue-
cheesecake?
I wouldn't-
bro?
I keep, what,
Hey, bro, you can't do that. You can't raise your thing and then belittle my thing like that. Why does
Chocolate
mine have to be
cheesecake.
cheap?
I can't take this seriously in this
What
fucking
the
hat.
hat?
Hey, I can't fucking take you seriously. This fucking fedora on.
honestly,
Jay, but
I agree with
Christ.
Mark. I can't see the chocolate cheesecake working with the meal, and I can't see a normal
Chocolate-
chocolate cake.
Bro,
working
chocolate
with the
doesn't
meal.
work. Chocolate doesn't work as well
Unless
with
it's
the
a
steak.
chocolate mousse
Think about this.
cake.
I don't
Yeah,
necessarily
think
need
about this.
chocolate, but I could get behind cake, like, generally.
What kind of cake? Just like a basic ass cake?
I can't get behind cake.
A pound cake?
Vanilla cake? I don't fucking know.
Being for like a fancy dinner like this, I can't get behind a cake.
Bro,
It has
I'm
to be,
telling
like,
you-
it has to be like a complex baked dessert.
Dude, I challenge. Go to a fucking steakhouse and try not to find apple pie or
Challenge.
apple crumble on that shit.
Challenge.
Apple pie.
Challenge.
Apple pie. I'm not shaking your hand. Apple pie is just like a delicious It's so beloved. And especially with a warm apple pie or crumble with a vanilla ice cream melting on
God,
there
the
and
crumble.
caramel sauce, it works so
crumble.
well. I think it
That-
works well the steak dinner
Here's
as
the
well.
question. Here's the question. Is one of me or Matthew going to join you guys? Because right now we're both not. with
Well,
you guys.
I was
What
just
do you
gonna
mean?
say I can't stand apple pie or
Oh,
cinnamon.
no.
However, if that's what you guys really want to give them, like
I'm not with it, bro. I'm not with it.
What do you want to give them? A slice of cheesecake. What kind of cheesecake do you want to give
You're
them?
so
Not-
dismissive.
not
That's
what
crazy.
you
There's
want.
Our dessert, it sounds so complex. It sounds there's so much.
Why
work put
can't we
into
have
it,
a cinnamony
but when it
kind of
comes to your
cheesecake?
cheesecake is just
Cheesecake,
Give it to
Patrick.
'em.
What are you
Patrick,
talking about, bro?
cheesecake is good. It's delicious. What?
I've got it.
Okay.
Ice cream cake.
No one's
Here's the
with
thing.
you, bro. No one's
Here's the
with you,
thing.
bro.
I like ice cream cake, but also I'm assuming they're not
Baskin
12-year-old
Robbins?
boys.
Dairy Queen ice cream
Bro, I
cake
love-
with the chocolatey crumble part.
I love ice cream cake, but I also like junior chicken, and it's just not. We're not quite at that level.
Okay, how
we're
about
trying to
this?
we're
How
trying
about
to we're trying to be
this? How about this?
elevated like fucking.
How about
nice.
it's like buddy burgers.
How about
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
A chocolate lava cake.
No,
Ooh,
I was actually
okay.
Really
thinking
good
about that.
chocolate lava
Here
cake.
now I'm more on your side here. I could get down with that. Again,
Okay.
to me, I prefer
I get
the
down with that
apple
with a little
pie.
bit of powdered sugar on top.
Yeah, something like that.
If it's really if it's good,
Really decadent.
lava cake can kind of be shitty and tacky.
It can.
Sometimes.
It can.
But if it's done really well, it
I mean,
would
in
be
this
blow
case,
your
in
mouth.
our case,
In this
it
case,
is
talking
the
about the
human,
best of the
humanity
best.
is.
How about this? How about we do a little bit of everything for everybody? How about we have a
so we do apple crumble. And
no, we do a delicious chocolate lava cake,
Mm-hmm.
and you break that shit open and it's oozing. But there's also a big scoop of vanilla ice cream that's melting on top of the
Yeah.
chocolate. We give them a taste of vanilla and chocolate, which is an excellent combination.
Yes.
I get down
That's
with
a good way to
I'm
end
with,
the
I'm
meal.
with
I get
this.
down with
Can
that.
we
good
give
with
them?
that?
Can we
agree with
add?
that.
Can we give them a breath mint when they're done?
We
Sure.
Yeah, with just one.
Okay, so here,
Exactly.
here's what we got. We got appetizers. We got 3 tacos,
Mm-hmm.
fish, chicken, and beef.
Mm-hmm.
We got a delicious tomahawk steak with garlic cheesy mashed potatoes
Mm.
and a vegetable assortment. Oh no, sorry,
No,
and a
Caesar
salad,
salad.
a Caesar salad on the
Caesar.
side,
With bacon
nice and
bits.
creamy. And then we got a delicious chocolate lava cake with melted vanilla ice cream on there.
That sounds solid.
Wash it
That
down
sounds
with an iced
so
tea and a
solid.
fucking bourbon.
If I may say, I don't think humanity is doomed.
We're not
Not
dead
with
yet.
not with us.
What a-
choosing
what a
the
meal.
aliens are happy.
I do. Before we get out of this, I do need to say for the record
Here we go.
what my meal by myself would have been
Okay,
for the
let's
aliens.
do it really quick. Everybody pick your own
My
personal
meal
meal.
by myself for the aliens: hummus appetizer, baked salmon entree, sweet potatoes, and a salad. Likely, probably a Greek salad, and then Adam's fudge cheesecake ripple, whatever it's called,
'Kay.
as the dessert.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
meal
Drink?
for the aliens, and I think that's the winner as well.
Let me go.
Okay, everyone's gonna list out ours, and then if anyone wants to comment, please do which one's your favorite out of all of
Yeah.
ours.
All right, I would have gone with the sliders,
Yeah.
the 3 or 4 sliders. I would have gone with the pork chop with the cheesy garlic mashed potatoes, and then a side of probably like vegetables over the salad. And then for dessert, I would have done the apple crumble,
Dude,
and for my drink, it would have just been iced tea.
Literally that's the one for me. Exactly that. I cut it. Okay, no. Here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna change the meat. Everything else is the same. The caramel apple crumble, vanilla ice cream,
Yeah.
the sliders. I love a good burger. The mashed potatoes and the veggies and stuff. I prefer that over a salad. But the actual cut of meat, I would have just like I love veal. It's my favorite meat. So I'd have like a succulent veal cutlets, like veal steak, I guess you can call it.
Okay.
I like veal. It's so delicious, and I think that
It
with
is
mashed
so
potatoes, I
delicious.
prefer it over a pork chop. I love a pork chop, but veal steak.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't want to answer.
All right.
Um,
I thought you were being serious.
steak, fries,
It's your app.
ice cream and cake, alcohol, a soda instead
app?
of
This
iced
Guy
tea.
chose fries,
What's
bro.
your app? What's your app?
App's the tricky one. App is the tricky one.
Dude, let's go to Ivy Arms.
I'm gonna say either the tacos, like we said, or maybe a garlic bread
Okay.
for the
That's
app.
solid.
All right.
All right, there.
Mine's
So
well
solid, but that's
which one do you
solid.
guys like the most? Me and Malcolm's, or
All right.
Or Patrick and Matty's.
We
Yeah.
survived, I think, right?
Yeah,
Alrighty.
we're
Earth is
fine.
okay.
sweet?
Well, I came in tonight
Oh.
quite fired up and
Mhm.
angry
Mhm.
because I had a shitty day at work today.
Mm.
It didn't show.
And thankfully, being around the familia
Let's go.
and having a bunch of light topics has soothed my mood, which is good.
Very nice.
But I think I still want to talk about it, although hopefully in a more productive way than what it would have been. I don't really know what to call this topic other than Matt's angry. And I don't really know. I don't really know what I want it to be about. This is kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be my do we need therapy topic yet, because I still think we'll get to that someday. And that I think about more about like, you know, crying and how I don't fucking do that and how it's probably really unhealthy. But I'm more focused now on anger, specifically my own. And obviously I don't want to hog the spotlight here. We can get into everybody else's. But I don't know. I want to just talk about like anger, how you guys are with anger. Do you find it's a problem? Like, I was also thinking about this earlier of the idea of maybe talking about like blowing off steam, but like that to me, I know how to blow off steam. I know how to just fucking pound it. I know how to blow off steam. Like, I'll play video games, I'll listen to music, I'll like watch something funny. Like, I've got that covered. But it's more about like, I don't know, anger management.
Sure.
Or like just anger generally, because I find that I have a bit of a temper. And I don't know how to handle it or what to do. And I find there are times where it's like, today's a perfect instance where like everything that could go wrong kind of just went wrong at work today. And it just kind of kept like compounding and pissing me off. And it's probably a thing where I should just let most of it go or not bug me. And I think generally I am that way with things. Like, I am very laissez-faire, and like, you know, I always say like, does it involve me? Does it concern me? No, like, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, so I am very passive and just go with the flow in a sense. But with things that tick me off or like make me angry, I find they stick. It's like an itch you just can't scratch kind of thing. And I don't know. I find I have a complicated relationship with anger and my own anger and anger management and all that, because there are definitely times where I feel like I fly off the rails and I wish I didn't. And there's a part that perturbs me and bugs me, and I don't know if it bugs me more that I get so angry or riled up about things sometimes. Here we go. Remember last week when I said I'd start a topic and then fucking one of you guys starts laughing?
What happened?
Your face.
My face? What do you mean? I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, you're just so focused.
Mark's
I'm fine.
goofy looking. I don't know if it's like, if it bugs me more how angry I get sometimes, or if it bugs me more that like,
Is there room to talk about what specifically made you angry, or is that not?
it's just dealing with like, because
Anger in general?
Patrick and I's job, like, we're in more supervisory positions. So it's like dealing with like staff frustrates me. Dealing with people frustrates me, like more dealing with like the
Tell me
public.
about it.
And there's just something where like I had talked to a staff member about doing something, and I cleared it with like another person who like wasn't staff. It's a whole thing. I'm trying to speak in somewhat of a vague sense, but it's basically I talked to somebody else about like, hey, can my staff do something? And they were like, sure. And then my staff went to go do it, and another person stuck their nose in and was like, no, you can't do that, and blah 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 blah. But like was just being like a dick to my staff, and I was already annoyed at this staff member and basically everyone on my staff tonight for like other reasons of like just being late or like screwing this up. So I was already mad, but it was kind of like I feel like the younger sibling thing where it's like, I know people talk about this, but like the younger sibling thing of like, yeah, I can make fun of my younger sibling, but like you can't, so fuck off kind of thing. And I feel that way about like our staff, where it's like, yeah, I was giving them shit tonight for being like bozos, but when like these other people were laying into them for nothing, especially when it was something I had already talked to somebody else about clearing and making sure it was okay, and then they went in and gave them shit, like I was fucking so mad, because I was like, no, asshole, like you don't talk to my staff that way, you know. I talk to my staff that way when they're annoying and like screwing up kind of thing. But it's like, you don't just come in here and do that. But so it's not so much like tonight, for example. It is just more in a broad sense. You know, I don't walk around like in my day to day like fucking I'm pissed off about everything. Like I don't think I'm angry, generally speaking.
Yeah.
It's more like I get into moods, but it's like when it happens, even though I just mentioned blowing off steam, I still have a hard time shaking it. Like, it's just this gnawing thing I can't get over. Even now, like, I started this topic saying, like, being with you guys and talking, and we've had, like, more lighthearted and, like, silly topics tonight has been good, and it's been, like, a good stress reliever in blowing off steam. And I genuinely, like, needed it tonight, and it was good to do this and have this. But that being said, and even as I, like, start to talk about it now, like, I could feel it. I can't help but shake the, like, I'm good now. I'm relaxed. I'm happy. I'm talking with you guys. We're having a good time. But there's still that small part of me that's like, those motherfuckers who were talking to my staff, or like, why are my staff annoying in the first place? Or why did this random person, like a public patron or whatever, why did they have to be like a dick about this? Like, I can just feel it eating away at me, and I can't shake that. And maybe that's normal, but it feels in my case like it's to a detrimental degree. And so I don't know what this topic is other than Matt's angry. So I don't know. I just wanted to vent to you guys, but also get your thoughts and feelings and, you know, your angry
What
things.
the fuck was that?
What?
Why did you cough in my face, you asshole?
I didn't realize it.
The hell was that?
Because with you guys, just, and then I'll pass it to you guys. I don't find you guys either to be angry people.
Not generally.
And even like Patrick and I's work friends. I gotta cut that. Even Patrick and I's work friends are like, you know, my friends from school, whatever, Varsh, you know, our kind of friend group for there. Like, I don't know anybody in my life
Like a hothead
really
type person?
that's like angry all the time, or like, you know, I definitely know people like my dad, similar to me, has a temper and like gets fired up about stuff, but like I don't know anybody who's like angry or walks around like pissed off all the time or any of these things. Again, going back to you guys. And I find that if you guys get angry about shit, the times I do see you angry, it never feels like
Deep.
it never feels like you guys necessarily fly off the rails
That's good.
like I have in the past. Not like at you guys, and not saying you guys at me, but just like if you guys like, and I'm not talking about when we're playing fucking Smash or something and one of us loses and we're just like butthurt about losing. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like genuine angry shit. Like, I don't see you guys angry that often, and I feel like when I do, it is a more like, I don't know if reserved is the
There's
right
no fucking
word.
way you meant to do that move. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit.
Yeah.
I meant it, bro.
Bro,
I don't know
no,
if
you
you're talking
fucking
about
did not.
that.
Bro, I literally,
This is what I'm talking about.
I knew you were gonna dodge there.
No, he literally was like holding it for like 2 seconds, and then I rolled into it.
I knew you were gonna go there.
It wasn't like a last second, like, oh, he's about to move. It was just like you're holding it, and you
The
were in the
timing
wrong
was a
direction.
little closer than that, and I actually went in that direction,
That's what-
knowing you were gonna.
Okay, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about now. You guys talking about this is literally perfect of what I'm talking about. Even though I just made the joke of like Smash, you know, we're fucking around. Yeah, we get angry because we lose, whatever. But this is the thing: how long ago did that happen? That Smash game we were
Like
playing? At
wait,
least
wait,
a
wait.
handful of weeks. What, 2-3 weeks maybe?
When we
Has to be a
played-
month, bro.
When we played Smash. No, it was a couple weeks ago.
Wasn't it? It would have been what? We were at your house like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 weeks ago. Sure.
So this is what I'm saying, where it's like 2-3 weeks ago we played Smash. You killed Mark at the end of that one round.
Yeah, I
and he
did.
got mad at you and said you like didn't mean it or whatever, and you got mad and were like, yes, I did, blah blah blah. But here's what I'm saying: the fact that the two of you, on just Mark bringing up you didn't mean that, the two of you instantly know what you're talking about. Doesn't that, to me, like that's kind of what I'm getting at? Like, doesn't that show that like? I'm just saying, bringing that up in the sense of like that we hang on to like
I think it's
shit
okay.
like that. It's like, why don't, and I'm not talking about you guys in the sense of like, why don't you just let this go? But it's more like how I think about myself of like, why don't I just let shit
Here,
as mundane as
Here's the-
losing at Smash?
And
Why don't I let
can't
it
control
go?
it.
I can answer your question really simply. I can't let it go because it made me feel like an alpha.
okay, here's the thing. Okay, so I think to me it depends on whether something is like a serious issue versus like a light issue. Because to me, maybe it was one of those things where because it wasn't a big deal and it was just something silly, we were both like mentally, even if we didn't explain it, even if we didn't say it explicitly like, out loud, we were both like, okay, let's just fucking let it go. But in kind of like just throwing it away for the time being, we never actually dealt with it. But it's not serious enough to the point where we're like, we have to deal with it. But to me, there are other issues that are like deep seated. If it's like a grudge or something like serious, like a personal problem with someone, and that to me, just like the Smash thing, could linger and never be dealt with, and then just even bringing it up like ignites a fire, just like it did there. But I think you have to kind of like pick your battles where some things aren't really just worth it, and we can be friends without agreeing on that one point.
I
You know what I'm saying?
those Smash things are like they're like fun little fires.
Sure.
Like you can pick at with each other. Like I remember it was a long time ago that we were playing Smash in Mark's basement, and I remember Mark just kept making like smart little comments to Matty when Mark was winning, and Matty lost it. He lost it. He was screaming. He was swearing. He's like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like you did not mean that move. Like
Definitely an example of me flying off the rails. But and again, I get what you're saying too, where it's like, yeah, when we're playing Smash, we're just angry at that we're losing. We're not like it's not like I'm angry at you for something else, and I'm just like picking this placed event. Like it's got nothing to do with anything else. It's purely just we'll play Monopoly, we'll play Smash, like the four of us, and somebody loses and we get fucking pissed at each other. Like that's not.
I think
that's a separate thing. But to me, it's just more like I don't know. It is just like the flying off the rails thing, and like I feel like I don't. It's not even what you're saying so much about like not dealing with things and like it lingering. It's more the thing of like I feel like I do deal with it in quotes of like I do get upset and I will get like verbal about something or like run it over in my head. Like I do try and process it, but it's like how it comes out sometimes is me flying off the rails. And even when I feel like I've talked about it or like handled it or thought it over or whatever, or like tried to let it go, it's like I can't help the feeling of like still just like gnawing at me kind of thing. I don't know what it is.
I have something that helps me with that sort of thing, because even today, like at work, I kind of got annoyed and frustrated at like customers and shit, because like I don't know if we have to cut this out or not, but I'll tell you guys and we can cut it here. But basically, I don't think we have to necessarily, but like we'll see. Like Vanya and I ordered food, right? We ordered like Popeyes on Uber Eats, and we brought it to the store because her and I were just closing by ourselves, and it was like pretty slow. And like we got the food, but people would not stop coming into the store, and we want to eat together, and it's like super slow. It's like dark out at this point. It's like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and we just want to fucking eat the food. And then like people just come in and just like browsing for a while, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys looking for anything?" And they're just like, "No." And I'm like so mad that they're like literally this person's preventing me from eating the food, and the food's getting cold. So like, and then like as soon as they would spend like 20 minutes in the store, and I'm like, still doing okay? Yeah. Like, they have nothing but fucking time. And then they finally walk out, and then like 2 other people come in, and I'm like, "Oh, is there anything you guys are looking for? I can help you out." And they're like, "Not really. I'm just killing time, like just like doing nothing, fucking like doing nothing."
You just said, "All right, I'm gonna eat my lunch."
So to me, that was one thing where I was like kind of the way I was like walking and acting, I was just kind of like jittery, like upset. And I feel like something that has always helped me. Okay, we can cut back in here. We don't have to. Yeah. Anyway, something that helps me when I feel really angry or upset is thinking about good things in my life. That always dissipates things at least a little bit. Like even today when I was telling you guys earlier, like I was upset at work or whatever, I felt like me being like, all right, but okay, it's fine. Like it's fine. Everything's going good in life. I have people that love me, care about me, good friends, family. Little things just kind of make me feel like, you know what? This isolated incident isn't a big deal to me because like life is going pretty well otherwise. I think if I felt like my life was going to shit, and then stuff was happening, I'd be like, "Oh, this is happening, and my life's going to shit," and it would make things worse.
Honestly,
but to me, having that light thing of like, yeah, but everything's good otherwise. Like I'm happy. I got all these. Look at all these things I could be happy about. Why am I letting this thing kind of weigh more than all those other good things?
I was gonna say sometimes, actually, usually when I'm upset about something like that, I just think like almost in the same way, but I think about something that's gonna happen. Like I'll be like, "Oh, next week I'm like going out with the guys," or "Next week I'm doing this," and I'll be like, "Oh, so this problem is irrelevant right now, and I'm just happy about next week, and I'm gonna forget about this," and I just get happy just instantly.
Yeah, and I think a second thing I will throw out really quick too is kind of trying to think consciously that there are certain things that you just literally can't control. And to me, like at work today, even there was like customers being difficult and shit, and I felt like, you know what? I just gotta let it go because I can't control this, and it probably won't go the way I want it to. But it is what it is, and I have all these other wonderful things in life, so I shouldn't let this kind of little thing that's out of my control dominate my mind. Like I just kind of have to think about it consciously like that. But I find that just being like, "Oh, but it's fine. Like I have a great life and everything. Like everything's cool. Like I'm happy. I'm gonna go home and play my video game. You know, record with the guys." But I don't know, just like little things like that.
Yeah, you're definitely right, and I do like incorporate that, or at least try to, but I don't know what it is. I guess like to me, I guess it does just boil down to the like temper part of it all. When it's like when something like today again at work, for example, was a perfect thing where it's like at the beginning of the shift, like some of my staff like just doing stuff that was pissing me off, and it's like, okay, that has annoyed me, and then it's like having to then deal with some of the sort of like consequences of that is like annoying. Then it's like the thing happens where I had my staff and cleared it with somebody else, and then like a third party got involved and fucked the whole thing up, and it's like now I'm pissed off about that kind of thing. And then because I was like so preoccupied doing all this other stuff, I missed something I was supposed to do that like somebody else was giving me shit for, and then that gets added to it, and then it's some, you know, patron or whatever who's like chewing me out for something, and it's like that gets added. And I find it's a thing of like when the initial thing pisses me off, sometimes it's just like one thing makes me angry and I'm just upset about that thing and I dwell on that thing. But what I find doesn't help is that once I get pissed off about something, it's like a switch gets flipped, and it's like some part of me is like, oh, okay, we're angry now.
There's nothing
perfect.
Worse than...
Now we're angry about everything.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a thing of like, even if it is more small things that any other time I would have let go, they become so much bigger because it's like I'm already operating at 100 because I'm pissed off about the first thing, and now it's just other shit keeps getting stacked on it, and I'm fucking furious about everything. And it is that thing, and it's that I don't like it about myself where like I'm walking around and I can just feel like
your energy.
I can feel like I always make the joke of like I have fucking Tom Hanks hands from like Saving Private Ryan, where like I would make a horrible surgeon because I have such a jittery hand. But it's like I'll be sitting at work or like walking around, and I just feel like Patrick's doing right now. When I sit, I shake my leg, or I like pick at my stupid fingers, which I shouldn't do. But I find like all that shit gets like dialed up to 11, where it's like I start like walking around at work, like just needing to walk to like do something, or like start organizing things. I'm like tapping on the desk, my legs are shaking, I'm like biting at my nails, like my hands are all shaky. Like it just becomes this like whole thing, and I don't
there's no worse
want
feeling.
it to, and I don't like it to, but I can't. I don't know.
There's no worse feeling than like you said, the switch going off, and then now you're interpreting everything through this like angry lens. And then like even if that next thing wouldn't have hurt you as much if it was the first thing, now that it's the second thing, it's like little things will start to annoy you. And I feel like to me the best way that I try to deal with it is like not letting it build up. Like I have to cut it off at the fucking root. Like I have to be like, okay, I have to think to myself, why was I originally mad? And I have to figure that out. And if it means having a conversation with Vanya or something, or even sometimes I'll just call Patrick randomly and just like chat about something that's annoying me or something. So it's like, I feel like communicating, getting it out is a good way. And you have to also like you have to like deal with it from the very beginning. And I think after you understand that the switch went off at this point, and here's why it went off. This little thing is bullshit, and I gotta like let that little thing go, and then the rest of the time you're calm, I guess, type thing. It's hard because it happens to me a lot, especially at work, where something will happen, and I'll be like, okay, didn't like that, and then like the next thing will happen, and I'll be like, oh, didn't like that either, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And even if the things are getting even more little and more insignificant, they feel more and more intense.
Yes.
And I'll talk to my like Vanya, for example, afterwards, and she'll be like, yeah, but like, why'd you get so upset about that? And then I was like, I don't know, just like fucking like, again, the switch was already off.
Yes. I find, and this is, I guess, speaking to the point of me like flying off the rails, pun intended, is like I find I have a hard time of like when the train leaves the station, like it's go time. And it is like I said, where it's like then I walk around, and when more things come up that normally wouldn't bug me, they just get compounded of like, well, now I'm pissed about this and that and that and that. And I find too, there's almost a part of me too that almost is like, I say looking for a fight, not physically speaking, but then there is a part of me that almost like goes around like
trying to like verbally,
not even so much, it's not like I'm like actively picking things, it's more just like if something like I just get in my own head of like if somebody comes to me about something and like has a complaint or whatever, or like does something they shouldn't be doing or whatever, it's like
you're not gonna let it go.
That motherfucker's dead, because it's like then I'm just taking everything and be like, I'm pissed about all this shit, and you're like the straw that broke the fucking camel's back, and now it's go time.
To me, it's like if I'm really upset about something, and then maybe someone will say something that is like vague, and there's two ways I can interpret it. Like they're being like an asshole, and they're trying to be like shitty, or they just didn't mean it. And they probably didn't mean for it to come out that way. But if I'm really upset and someone says something, I'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? And I'll be like upset about it. And I'll be like, oh, if I was totally calm, I'd be like, oh, like I'd be more chill about how I handled it. But because I'm already angry, it's like it's like that. What do they call it in psychology? They call it hostile attribution bias, I think, which is basically like you interpret vague inputs as just like negative and bad things. So like someone will say something and you'll just interpret it negative, and you just kind of have this. It's sometimes to me it comes naturally to interpret things negatively like that, and that's why for me, and I feel like we're similar in that way, where we just kind of like, I mean, I don't know about how you interpret things, but I feel like from the beginning, even from the first thing, it could be something that's like not totally bad, but like I'll just kind of interpret it bad, and then the switch will go off from that. It doesn't have to be like really explicitly bad, and so I feel like for me the way I deal with that is communicating, like talking about it, and then I realize that it's not that bad when I talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he brought up psychology. I was gonna sort of take us to a little more of a scientific place, but you're sort of, and I don't know if this is the same, but you describing your anger makes it sound like you're in sort of like the stress response kind of thing.
Thank you, doctor.
Well, I was
just
gonna.
kidding.
No, I know.
Define that for a simpleton like myself.
It's basically what it means is your
Adrenaline
body is like in a state where like your heart rate goes up.
Sure.
And
you're more alert.
you're more alert. Exactly.
It feels like a fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost.
Well, that's what it's called.
Of
It's
like
called fight or flight system.
So someone attack, like you're fucking like you're like on the edge.
Yes, it
Yeah.
feels like something sets me off, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm like in that headspace of like
Exactly.
fucking pissed
Yeah.
about everything,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
here we go, kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing.
And when you arguably shouldn't be, I guess. So what I'm curious to know if this might work, something that we teach police officers in my lab is, so this group of people who face a disproportionate amount of stress because of their job, and they're in the stress response constantly. Something we
Which
teach
is why
them-
accidents happen, by the way, for police officers. Like they're on edge.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
they're
on
like,
edge.
what if someone kills me today? Type shit.
So something we teach police officers to do is something called recovery breathing or a one breath reset. And basically the goal of these kinds of breathing patterns is to sort of momentarily like bring your stress response down so that you can, I guess, collect yourself and be less in that sort of...
It's kind of like you're forcing your body to just chill for a second.
Exactly. You're forcing your body to like calm down for a second, for lack of a better word. And this sort of technique has shown to lead to less lethal force errors in police during training and just better outcomes. So
That does it. I've tried that myself. Maybe not like a practice. I just kind of like sometimes I'll take a deep breath
yeah.
and I'll kind of like close my eyes and take a deep breath. And I feel like that sort of shit, even if it doesn't help for too long, it, like you said, puts you in that more chill mindset so that you could like make the next decision more calmly or think about the next thing more calmly. And then even if you end up getting more mad after, then you try it again. And it's like eventually you'll settle when you're...
Well, it's cool because sometimes we set police officers up with like this heart rate monitor and then like an app that shows them their heartbeat. And doing the one breath reset has like this specific pattern, so you know when you've done it properly, and it like sort of leads to, again, like a more slowed sort of heart rate kind of thing. But yeah, it's just simple. You just take a deep breath in with your nose. You hold it for a second. And just let everything out. That's the one breath reset. Or recovery breathing is just, we can talk about that after, but
I've heard as well.
Yeah.
I think online it was Andrew Huberman. You know Andrew Huberman?
yeah.
He's like a scientist and like he does like he's a
Stanford?
professor at Stanford. Yeah. And he talked about this like, I think it's like, I think you take one long inhale like this, and then once you get to that peak, you inhale again. So you go, and like that like kind of long inhale, second quick inhale, and then exhale is apparently like he's proven in his lab to like reduce anxiety or something. So the breathing exercises is for sure. I feel like if you can't convince yourself consciously, like because I'm saying like talk about it, let it out. It seems like that for you doesn't necessarily work. So maybe like forcing your body like on a fucking scientific level to just kind of like chill.
Yeah. Varsh tells me the same thing too, where she's like, you gotta just breathe and like whatever. And I don't... It's also like, I also try to think about too, because I also, you said it, and Varsh tells me too, where it's like, well, you can't get like annoyed about the things that you can't control.
You can get annoyed by them.
And it's like, that's absolutely true, and how I should think things. I think too, it stems from like, I'll put it this way. Another podcast I watch, they've recently talked about this idea of like they don't like being put in, and they actively try to not put people in a position where they have to like do something they don't want to do or be uncomfortable or anything like that. And I, like I was saying before, am very like laissez-faire. I'm not a confrontational person. I'm very just like whatever, like I don't want to get into an argument about this, or I don't want to get in a fight, or I don't want to, as like a superior at a job, I don't want to have to give like my coworkers shit about something they're doing wrong, especially where at our thing it is like relatively tightly knit, or you are like friends with most of the people. So it's like I don't want to have to give like a friend basically, or somebody that I'm at the very least amicable with, shit because, you know, they have their head up their ass or whatever. So it's like I think part of what frustrates me too so much, and it's definitely something I just need to like get over or work through, is this idea of like, because I was talking about it with my mom a couple weeks ago, because there was a couple weeks ago on like a Tuesday where I just had not a good day. Like it was one of those funks I get into where it's like we've talked about, where it's like I don't get stressed about like shit in my personal life necessarily, more like broader things. And I was just like thinking about the shit going on in the Middle East, thinking about or like dealing with people at work and whatever in the pool, and it was just like all this shit added on to each other. And then like basically being told that like this kid I know sort of tangentially through our work, who I've seen around our work for probably a year, and like their mom basically being like, oh yeah, by the way, obviously not this casual about it, but like, oh yeah, by the way, like the kid's got cancer or whatever. And that was just like the fucking straw that broke the camel's back of like, and everything sucks and I hate everything and fucking everybody can get fucked. And you know, like it was just it was such a shitty day for me. And equating it or adding it onto the anger thing, I feel like part of what frustrates me so much is like I'm so trying to not put people in a position, and it's so hard for me to like rationalize and understand people doing it to me, whether it is a customer complaining or it is like, because to me it's like there's a part of me that looks at like it from the perspective as you, the staff member, have fucked up, which now puts me in a position where I have to give you shit, which I don't want to do because I'm not confrontational and because I'm friendly with you and don't want to do this. So it's like now you've put me in a position where I either have to do this, which I should be doing probably as like a supervisor or whatever, or I don't do it, in which case you just keep doing it and there is no correction and you take advantage of it and blah, blah, blah. And so it's just like,
you know what it comes down to? I feel like
it feels like what it is it feels like I get wronged by things that are out of my control, or it is just people being like shitty, and that
it sounds like
frustrates me too so much.
It sounds like a part of it is like, why, like you're probably thinking to yourself like, why are they not fucking doing the right thing?
Yes,
but
there's a part of me that's just like, why can't you just be like as decent and honest as I'm trying to be to you? It's the same thing with like, we'll have people at our work who like come for things, like somebody will be like, oh, I'm here for this thing, and I'm like, oh, it ended an hour ago, and they're like, oh shit, like I'm here now or whatever, is there any way I can do something? And like I try to be compromising, I try to be like, you know what, normally you probably couldn't do this, but just this one time I'll let you do this one kind of thing. And then it's like I give people, you know, it's the thing of like you give people an inch and then they like ask for a mile, or it's like I say to them explicitly like, I am doing this for you this one time because like of whatever reason I'm trying to be nice here. And then like they come back like the next week or whatever and they're like, hey, I'm here to do that thing again. And it's like, what point of this was a one-time deal don't you get kind of thing?
I think
and then it puts me in the position of having to be like, no, you can't do this, and then they're pissed at me for saying no, and they're like, well, you let me do this before.
It sounds like you're taking it. It sounds like you're taking it personally. But to me,
a part of me I think does.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. But to me, the way I think about it is like, he's not thinking about it as deeply as you are.
Sure.
This is what it should help you mentally to be like, people are just being selfish, and people are just kind of like, they're thinking very surface level, and they're like, oh, that was a good thing I got to do. Let me try to do that again. They're not being like, oh, so he had to like, you know, push. He kind of had to like bend the rules a little bit to help me, and like he wasn't thinking about it the way you were thinking about it. He was just like, oh, let me try to do that again. And so to me, I feel like if you knew that people were thinking about it deeply and then still doing it, that would drive you crazy.
Sure.
But the idea that people are just being kind of like surface level selfish, and it's not that they're like bad people or they're trying to take advantage or they're negative or they're shitty people. It's just that they're just kind of like, they got a lot of shit going on in their lives.
Well, it's like a certain amount of carelessness.
Sure. And it's like, yeah, it's not cool to see that, and you'd like people to be more careful. But at the same time, it's a better it's a better reality than people who are actually just genuinely shitty and trying to like deeply cause problems for you.
Sure. And you saying that is true in the sense of they're not actively thinking about it. It is more careless. But to me, it's like that's just as frustrating of like, I get what you're saying of like if somebody actively was thinking about being a shitbag, that would be more infuriating than somebody who's just careless.
But I'm saying like someone who knew that they were putting you in this shitty situation, and then
sure.
But they were just like they were so selfish that they were just like,
but to me, there's a certain amount of selfishness in being unaware of that, of the carelessness, of like not considering.
But I think what Mark was, I think it shouldn't be as bad, because I think what Mark was trying to paint the picture of is like they've got stuff going on in their life, and it's like they. To me, it wasn't even a selfishness. You almost painted it as like an egocentric, like they're just doing them. Like they're just thinking about them.
They're just self-centered thinking
Which
about
everyone
their own
does
lives.
that is the thing.
Exactly.
Like I do that, you do that.
We do that.
Like everyone does that in a sense, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a better reality to live in, like Mark said.
Like I'm sure there are times when you do something to someone where if you were in a certain mood or if you were in their position, you'd be annoyed if they did that to you.
Sure.
That to me, it's like I think about it sometimes. Like if we're gonna go to a place and get food, kind of like right before they close, we're just kind of like, oh, we're hungry, we want food.
Yes.
But we're not in their position. We don't. It's hard sometimes, just when you're living your life and you have so much shit going on, and it's just like a quick pace to life, and you're just kind of like, you're not thinking like in the moment, how would they feel at this particular moment? It's like it's not that big of a deal for you.
See, but to me, I feel like I do that, and we've definitely gone to like a restaurant 20 minutes before they close or whatever, and like I'll make the joke walking in of like, oh, these guys are gonna fucking hate us, because there is a part of me genuinely that thinks
we're still gonna do it.
Man, this kind of sucks. We're gonna do it, but like, man, this kind of sucks for the people working there. And to me, it's like I am annoyed by people who don't even have that thought of just like, what's the big deal? It says you don't close till 10 o'clock, so why can't I come in and get food? It's like, I get that technically speaking, yes, we don't close till 10. You can come and get food. Like, I get that that's a true statement, but it's like that lack of consideration of like, maybe like, you know, this isn't like the nicest thing to do to these people who've been working here all day or like blah, blah, blah.
Some people will be more conscientious about it, but then also some other people will just be straight up inconsiderate people.
Sure.
And to me, it's like the people who are very inconsiderate, you gotta just be like, that's shitty, and I don't like that some people are like that. But I think for the most part, most people have some sort of consideration to them, and I feel like it's a spectrum where everyone's busy, everyone's doing shit, and some people are just gonna be like, you know, I'm just gonna live my life, and they don't think too deeply about it. I think that would make me feel better to be like, these people who are in the store and they're being annoying as shit, they're just like trying to live their lives and go about stuff, and they're not thinking deeply about it, and I wish they would right now. But at the same time, I can't be that mad at them because I've done the same thing, or I've done even a small version of that, you know?
Yeah. There's definitely a certain amount of hypocrisy in it. That is 100% true for sure. It strikes me as like, it is a thing of like, I just wish people were like slightly more like conscious of these things, or like aware of like, again, but when you're putting me in a position of like, now I have to be the asshole, like of either telling you no, you can't do this, and then you get mad at me, and then I have to fucking deal with that, or saying, yeah, I'll bend the rules and let you do this kind of thing, but then I'm letting you do something A, you shouldn't do, and then B, half the time I do that, and then people just try and take advantage of it anyways. So it feels like no matter what option I choose, it's like I can't fucking win.
But I've been playing devil's advocate by saying, you know, like, oh, people are just living their lives and whatever. But at the same time, there is such thing as being a shitty person. Like, I gotta play both sides in that sense, because I can't just be like, oh, everybody's busy, everyone's doing stuff. No one really means it. It's not a big deal, because obviously, like, there's a line where I think at some point people are just being really shitty people. So I think it's just kind of like you have to consider to what line, whether they've crossed the line or not. Like if someone comes in and is like, oh, well, you let me do that thing one time, it's like they're not being deeply shitty people. They're just kind of being a little bit inconsiderate because they haven't thought about you. Oh, maybe now he's going to be in a kind of somewhat difficult position because he's like not sure if whether to give it to me or not. They're not thinking that deeply, and I don't necessarily blame them for not thinking that deeply. And I also don't blame you for being frustrated about it. So it's just kind of like a complicated situation.
Well, and then it gets back to the anger thing of like, should I really let that bother me as much as it does?
You shouldn't.
Probably not.
But if it is a situation where someone's being like super inconsiderate and a shitty person, then to me it's warranted for you to, you know, lose it if you get mad or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's never a good idea to like lose control, but there's one situation where it makes sense for you to get mad and you're valid for getting upset, and there's other situations where you got to just be like, it's not that deep for them, and I know they're just being kind of a little bit selfish, but it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
If they're like putting other people in danger or being like super mean and insulting, that's different. But if it's kind of like subtle things like that, like someone slightly trying to take advantage of a situation, then it's like, you just got to be like, oh, you know what? I could see multiple people doing that. I could see many people trying to do that because I helped them out, and they're going to try to get help again.
Yeah.
And at that point, you probably got to tell yourself, maybe I shouldn't lend that extra thing to people because I don't want people to try to take advantage.
And that's the thing too, where like coworkers of Patrick and I like have definitely been like kind of breaking my balls lately of like,
Don't let them.
you got to be more stern, or like don't let them do this. But it's like
Unfortunately,
there is a certain naiveness to me maybe, but it's like I just don't have it in me to be like I hate when I go to a store, a restaurant, a public place, whatever the fuck, and it's like the people working there are just like assholes to me and to like the public. And it's like I don't have that in me. Like when people are at our place, I am like polite and respectful, and when people come to me with things, like I try to be compromising and like work through things or come up with solutions and this, that, the other. It's like I don't.
But it's a strategy though that people who are kind of assholes or more like stern, stone-faced, like that type of attitude develops as a defense mechanism, and it happens for a reason. Like I find myself even in retail being kind of standoffish with people because there's a trend that starts to form over time that people are always trying to take advantage. Most of the time people are leaving a mess. Most of the time people are being inconsiderate. Most of the time people are kind of asking for a lot and then end up not buying anything at the end of the day or whatever it is. And they're like pushing all the buttons and they're doing all this shit. And you kind of start being like, you know what? I'm just going to treat everybody with this neutral kind of like hard, cold, scientific, like we don't have that type thing. Like, and you kind of tend to go away from the warmth. But I think it's admirable that you try to continue with that. But at the same time, it's like it's a double-edged sword because you might have better customer service and you're more nice with people, but at the same time you let it get deeper into you because you're being nice.
There is definitely a part of that too of like I'm trying to be nice and polite to you, and when you throw that in my face or like try to take advantage of it, it does, because it's like if I was just a prick to people and then they were a prick back to me, it'd be like, fuck you, like we're both mean to each other. But it's like me trying to extend an olive branch and then you just shitting in my face about it.
You know what technique?
It's like an extra like digging the knife in of like, I'm being like, I'm trying to meet you halfway here and you're just being like, it's a slap in the face.
Here's the last thing I'll say about it, where I feel like my technique is kind of like oh, you're a nice guy technique. That's what I think about it. That's how I think about it, where if I'm talking to someone and I feel like they're asking a little bit too much or whatever it is, but I sense that they're a good person or a nice person and they've been kind with me or something, I'll give them that time of day. I'll put in that extra mile to look for that shoe for even longer and check the back, double check everything, and like I'll be more incentivized to do that. But if it's someone who I could tell is very like dismissive, like just do that for me, then I become more of that like stone cold, like sorry we don't have it type thing. But I think you have to just kind of play it by ear. Like some people, to me or to you, you're gonna feel like deserve that like kindness and deserve that sort of thing. But if someone's being a complete shitty person to you, then to me it's justifiable for you not to be shitty necessarily, but to be more stern. Like this person's kind of trying to take advantage and I can tell and they're being like shitty. I'm just gonna be very stone cold with them and stern, not rude, but just tell them how it is. But if they're really sweet people and they're being nice, then maybe you can be like, you know what, I'll help you out in some sort of way. You know, maybe you just have to analyze the person that you're talking to and be like, this person there's no getting to this person, and they're just like, you know, shitty or Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. We can get off this now. I apologize for taking a relatively light and goofy show and fucking.
I'll never forgive you for it.
Getting on this. So unless either one of you has anything you'd like to add, I will just conclude with. I don't know. Like I said, it's a thing that I have always kind of felt was an issue. Like when, if you ever do a thing and people are like, "What's something you like would change about yourself or would like to work on?" It's not that I want to like eliminate anger, because that's not healthy either.
Well, your micro penis.
Yeah, my micropenis for sure. That's got to go. That would
one
be
thing.
first. The anger would be second. So it's like I don't want to necessarily like remove the anger altogether, because I think that's too far the other way. Like with the crying thing, for example, where I think I'm way too fucking far the other way with that. But it's just this thing that I've always kind of like not liked about myself, I guess, about anger and getting angry and having a temper and flying off the rails and all this shit. And I even think about it too, like Bill Burr talks about it in his podcast and shit, where he talks about like how his dad was really like hot-headed and fiery and angry, and like he's really hot-headed and fiery and angry. But he talks about this like desire to not want to like pass that on to his kids. And I don't like blame my dad at all or anything, but like I for sure, whether it's genetically speaking or just the nature of growing up around people, get my temper in some respects from my dad.
Same.
Absolutely, for sure, beyond a reason of a doubt. I'm not blaming or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. And I do have that kind of conscientious thought too of like, I wonder if I can break it kind of thing. And again, in a sort of cyclical sense of like, my grandpa absolutely had a temper. My dad has like somewhat of a temper. And although he's like, fine, I'm not trying to make it sound like he's nuts or anything. My dad's happy-go-lucky and totally fine. It's just like he can get angry about shit that he shouldn't sometimes, just like me. And so it's like, it feels, I relate to that Bill Burr sentiment. What?
You can't break it.
Oh, you can't break it.
I think that
I relate to that sentiment of like trying to almost like put the fucking thing in its cage and just lock it up and stop it from being this like ongoing thing. And so I think about it in that sense of, I want to stop it for that reason. I want to stop it for health reasons, because I'm sure it's not good for my mental health. I'm sure it's not good for my health physically, literally, for my fucking heart to be beating a mile a minute when I'm like pissed off about something. Like that cannot be good for me, physically speaking.
I think that as long as you're,
I don't know. You said physical, literal health versus mental health. That was kind of weird.
I'm just saying, like, my actual body, it cannot be healthy, and in a more psychological sense, in either way, it cannot be good to be getting as angry as I do about stuff as frequently, or like holding on to it. Like none of that can be good. So there's a health reason of why I would like to get it gone, and there is more the sort of like philosophical trying to just, you know, end it with me.
I think that I find personal comfort, and I'm sure you do as well, and knowing that you're trying your best and you're going to keep trying your best. And there's like a quote that I like where it's like, you do your best until you know better, and then when you know better, you do better type thing. Like you do your best for what you know, and then when you know better, then you do better. You just kind of keep growing, you keep changing, you keep trying to, like, from generation to generation, you want to be more cognizant and more aware of it, and, you know, take notes, be like, I want to be less like this, I want to be more like this, and then you kind of try to teach your children, for example, to be less like this and more like this. And it's like, I think that if you're doing that, the hope is that many other people in the world are doing that. And if you're working on yourself, you know, odds are a lot of people are working on themselves. And I think that you can't control other people, but you can just work on yourself and try to get better. And that at least is making the world a better place. And I'm sure there's many other people who are in the same boat who are trying to get better as well. So that personally comforts me, where I'm like, I can control myself and I can get better. And that'll make my immediate environment better. Because when I'm really angry, everything around me is like negative, and there's like a weird energy around me. So like just me doing that for myself makes everything around me better. And then if other people do that, that'll make everything else better. And it kind of just spreads, and you try your best, you know.
What he said. Fellas, anything
Anyways.
before we depart? You're just going to keep breathing into
Yeah, it
the
was
mic.
real loud in my ears the whole
You have to
time.
cut all
I
that out.
don't have my headphones on, so I can hear it.
All right.
Well, alrighty then. Anyways, that went on longer than I thought. This has been another episode of Wildly Adequate. Gentlemen, around the horn before we go, anybody got anything they want to get off their
I'm
chest?
Slim Shitty, yes, I'm the real
No.
shitty. All these other Slim
Whoops.
Shitties aren't the real shitty.
All right. I think that's the perfect place to end it.
And that's about as good as it's going to get. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.